All right, everybody, welcome into the Couch Potato Sports Show. It is me, Sonny Clark, the hardest working man in sports radio, here on our Sunday morning tradition that continues on in our 14th year. By the time Super Bowl rolls around, it will be 15 years here on the Couch Potato Sports Show, bringing you all the craziness and the nittiness that only we can here on the Couch Potato Sports Show. It's week number 16 as we get set to wrap this up as far as the 2013 season. And I've got to say, I'm not very happy. Timeout. Wait. Is he saying bring? Wait.
You just said the 2013 season. What year are we in right now?
What did I say? 2013.
You said 2013. People are watching this going, "Holy shit! It's only Christmas somewhere." We're
in a flashback here.
You know what? You are guilty of one thing and one thing only. Well, a lot of things really, but
what?
Yeah, you over promo everything. Okay,
well, that's my job.
Graphics that are 5 minutes long. I mean, come on. By the time you're watching a sitcom, this show's halfway over. I mean, come on. And with the way you talk to me, you get on here, you start yelling at people, giving us headaches. I'm already 5 Advil in this thing, dude. Get with it. It's 2023. We're almost 2024. Come on, let's get with it.
It is almost 2024. I'd say 2014.
13.
It's insane.
I don't even know what year you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm a day late, dollar short for everything, or in this case, years. Years.
That's for damn sure.
That's for sure.
Where's my promo? Where's my promo?
What? Well, you interrupted your own promo.
I'm helping you out, okay?
Fine, I'll put your promo on. I got to make him feel good. You know, it's just what we got to do here on the Couch Potato Sports Show. Keep in mind, by the way, though, well, those that don't know, this guy you just got off work, right? About how many hours ago?
I got off work about 11:30 last night, so I got some sleep. But I go to work here later. I go to work later. So look, you understand something. Since I've done this show, I've got nothing but fan mail from all over the place.
They
people
love
saying,
you, right?
God, Trey, we love you so much. That guy who's a loudmouth, the hell with him. You know, that Santa wannabe. Don't worry about him. And by the way, where's his mustache?
Yeah, that's Santa. It.
I mean, so you know, I'm just here trying to keep it real, buddy. I'm trying to keep it. And you want to play the Chris Rock? Keep it real. Go ahead. I don't give a shit. But that's just what I'm trying to hear for you.
Keeping it real.
Exactly. So here I am doing you a solid, and here you are
saying,
solid,
yeah.
We're live. We're 2013. I'm like, we're not 2013 , buddy.
Hey, what time I thought you said we can't hear you, which might have been better in reality here.
Oh God, you were chipmunking it up big time. Jesus Christ.
Anyway, well, here
we're not going out to a great start. I'll tell you, you come unprepared, unorganized. You got your shit all over the place. You talk like a chipmunk. You're in 2013. Dude, this has not been a good day so far.
So far, it has not been Sonny's day, but we are here. I am here and you're set.
But who is in first place?
Yeah, I just pulled it up. You stole my line here. I was going right to it because yes, the Podfather is in first place. Hey, and you're gonna get if you win this, I'm gonna sing you a plaque. But Cuervo has got something to say about it. Now I'm 7 behind. I've already realized I'm not gonna win this thing. But here's just one thing I'm happy about. I had a much better year than I have, so I got to just unfortunately settle for that, and then I got to put this black stuff in my. I got to do the old
Hollywood Hulk Hogan thing. Yeah,
got to do the old Hulk Hogan thing.
Yeah, they put the black stuff underneath the chin with the Fu Man, with the blonde Fu
Man.
The stuff right here. Oh, I cannot wait for this. You got a whole month of doing shows like that, which
that's going to be.
Bad thing is during the off season, what sucks for me is the fact that you start the show at 12 on the off season, right?
Yeah, say that again.
Don't you start the show at 12 o'clock on?
We usually do, but but if you wanted to, the reason why I do the show at noon, usually in the off season, is because I give people time to wake up. Before they.
Wake up, people! The Podfather's here. Come on, let's go.
So if we need to start at 9, we'll start at 9 during the off season. So just so you can, spiel the things that you spiel out there. So, but
spiel?
It is what it is.
Do I like a spieler to you, sir? No.
Yeah,
I don't spiel, sir. You saw my video. I don't spiel.
Oh, that was terrible. Crazy knuckleheaded terrible.
It's bad, and the show as a whole is just nuts. But it is what it is.
You were saying about 2013. Come on now.
Well, I had a flashback. That's all. That's what happens when you get old and get a lot of knocks in the head. You just travel back into what's going on.
Kids who are watching, please don't do drugs. Okay.
Yeah, please don't.
Don't do drugs and donuts. Okay, drugs and donuts are bad.
Something like that. But it is the holiday season. It is the holiday season, right? So I yeah, that's what they say. But so I put together a little video here. Look at this. This is beautiful. Watch the ending here. The Couch Potato Sports Show.
So you spend more time putting that together, which took you about 24 hours, I assume. You spent more time than you had getting ready for today's show. Bro.
You're probably right. Well, no, that's not true. I woke up at 7:40, starting to get ready. Of course, I had to move all the boxes out in front of the big screen TV today on the 50-inch TV today.
I want to share about that. Yeah, look, I woke up, took 6 Advil because I knew you're going to be yelling at me the entire show. I'm already pumped up. I'm ready. It's week 16.
You're ready.
I'm ready to roll. Let's go. Come on, Dallas. Never mind. I've lost interest now. But
now you don't want to do it.
I don't talk no more, man.
So,
God,
by the way,
what an ass kicking Dallas took last week.
I was about ready to say, that with you being in first place, so I got to acknowledge that again. When it came to the Dallas Cowboys, I know
I'm smarter than that son.
I think I do. I think I know. I'm a little bit smarter than you because I had that pick because I know who the Dallas Cowboys are, Jenny. I really did.
I knew who they are too, and believe me, I was back and forth on that pick a lot. I mean, pretty much for the week, thinking, okay, well, Dallas did look good against a team that mattered. So maybe they can do the same thing for the week. But here's the thing. Buffalo said, no, well, shit, we matter as much as you do. So they put in, once again, it's the whole unfamiliarity that the Cowboys have right now with teams, with quarterbacks they don't play a whole lot with. They struggle. They're going to struggle today with Tua. They're going to struggle with Miami. Miami's got weapons everywhere. And Cowboys got injuries on the offensive line. So They're definitely gonna. It's gonna be a hard game to watch. I think the magic number for that game is 24. The first one, 24, is gonna win. But it's and I don't think it's gonna be Dallas. To be honest with you. But here,
and we gotta break it down. We gotta analyze it. We gotta figure out what's going on with it. You're screwing everything up, but we'll do that.
I got fan mail right here saying you need to start the show the way you need to start the show. So here I am starting the show. Hi everybody, welcome to the Kiss Sports Show. Everybody, this is the Podfather Trey Mack. That being said, here Sonny Clark, the kind of hardest working man. What? Don't put me on center stage. No, this is BS. But while we're at it, you see the Danny White collection I've got behind me here. It's really nice. Yeah, I've collected stuff over the years, and of course,
I'm impressed. I got to give it to you. There's not too many people, outside of Dallas know who Danny White is, or out of Arizona, because
it was funny because last week at work, we have the Dallas Cowboy Bar and Grill there at where the place that I work at, and when Cowboys are playing, we eventually bring in a former Dallas Cowboy to come in there and take part in the whole watching of the game. We've had Charles Haley there. We've had Drew Pearson. We've had a few other people there. And last week, I hear someone say, "Yeah, someone here last name was White." I'm like, "Danny White?" And then they're like, "I think so. Yeah, I think so." Later on, I found it was Randy White, but so I was like, okay. So I'm like, well, same time frame.
Danny White lives in Arizona.
But he does a lot of Dallas. He does a lot of Dallas stuff as far as he's still connected to the city somehow. But I was thinking he works with like Sporting News Radio or something to where
he did. He did work with Sporting News Radio,
and I know he does a lot of play-by-play stuff with the NFL off another NFL brand that carries.
Does it on radio? He's actually does it on radio and not on TV.
I just said all that. Why don't you listen to the show?
I know you said you said TV.
I didn't say TV. You said 2000. You said 2013, sir. I know what I'm talking about here. Okay, come on. Jesus Christ!
You're the one with the fresh mind. How many years younger are you than I am?
At least 2 years. I mean, come on. I mean,
at least 2. It's a lot more. I'm
not quite 50 yet. Okay, I'm getting there. I'm scratching.
By the way, you wait until that 50-year-old 1 year plan where they just decide that forget what your body says. The first thing they're going to tell you, Trey, when you walk in on that 50, let's schedule your colonoscopy. That's the first thing.
Oh, no.
When you turn 50,
listen.
They have a hard on about getting you into a colonoscopy.
No, listen. Between that and AARP, I pretty much know where I'm going to stand on all this crap. Listen, I'm going to die. Hey, I'm going to die of prostate cancer and colon cancer. I'm taking both down. Because I ain't going to that shit. No, I ain't going to that shit at all.
Well, that being said, I almost went ahead and got the AARP thing just so I could stop getting all the freaking mail from them. Because once they got you, they'll leave you alone. It's just like $12, no more AARP ads. Welcome
to the biggest Ponzi scheme in the United States, AARP.
Yeah, because they offer every discount that you can get just by asking.
Right. When you go to use it, okay, that'll save you about $3.
Hey, that's $3. Hey, that's a soda. Anyway,
you're not wrong about that. So much
listen, I mean that. Well, we won't get into that. We are flying off the rails here already. Not even talking about. So let's do that now. In all due seriousness, okay.
I'll do seriousness.
Cowboy, listen. I predicted exactly what was going to happen with that game.
Okay.
But unlike a lot of people, I'm still not completely down on the Dallas Cowboys because they've been getting a lot of heat about that game, and frankly, they should, because you talk about a team that is going to go and be real serious contenders for the Super Bowl. You need to at least make that a game. Well, they got their asses blown out. So that being said, I'm not necessarily too worried about that one, even though they got their asses blown out. Because guess what? That's what happened a few weeks back when they went and played the Cardinals. Cardinals blew their asses out of the water. So but that was the Cardinals. This is the Bills. So the expectations of what that was going to be, it didn't matter that they lost that game. I think he even said is how they lost that game. Now, I didn't elaborate on that as far as that is concerned. Getting blown out, I'll just say this. I don't necessarily think that is a indication of where the team is. I really don't. I mean, unless it's like a bunch of them in a row and they're getting their asses kicked week in and week out, even against crappy teams. Okay, that's not what happened. They got their asses kicked by a better football team within the conditions that they were playing. You can say whatever you want. That game happens in Dallas, Trey. The Cowboys win that game. I'm just.
Yeah. I mean, for one thing, Dallas has a better home field advantage.
Absolutely,
which is weird.
Much better.
Which is weird, by the way.
Much better conditions. So that being said, the Dallas Cowboys they take that loss, and I think they took every deal, every mark that they have in the football gods to get the Philadelphia Eagles to lose on Monday Night Football so they can maintain the top in reality, which really helped them. It really helped them because the Philadelphia Eagles schedule is much lighter than what the Dallas Cowboys got going on for the rest of the season.
Mm-hmm.
But that being also said, you also have a quarterback over in Philadelphia who seems to be on a crying jag. That's usually the way when I see what he said, how he said it, and seeing this guy in the sideline, this guy's either hurt, depleted, or someone said something about his mother that he just can't get over. He looks like just not a football player. He looks like a whiny little bitch on the sideline.
Or maybe now the defense have actually caught up to what they do.
That now, after you go not, but here's the deal: this team was 9-1. Now, granted, they have the same schedule as the Dallas Cowboys. Pretty shitty schedule. They should beat those teams that they beat. But I hate. Oh man, I have to admit something that I don't want to, because you said it. And so, all right. So when seeing who they were playing, how they were playing them, as far as where they were in the season, and then they started hitting and doing this stuff on the side, I was thinking to myself, well, here come the Philadelphia Eagles. No one's going to stop them. But what happened is they got in their own way up here in the head. And you made mention of this about 5 weeks ago, and I didn't want you actually saw it coming, which which I sometimes I'll see, sometimes I won't, based upon how much I see, whatever the case may be. But you were right about 5 weeks ago. This guy's got in his own head. And I don't know if they were just thinking that they were just going to be the next Super Bowl contenders or whatever the case may be, but that's exactly what has happened. He's got in his own head. But whether or not teams have figured him out, that's a big thing too, based upon the schedule. The Dallas Cowboys schedule, the Philadelphia Eagles schedule. It's the same exact.
You gotta remember one thing though. They played a lot of football with him at quarterback recently, okay?
Right.
You're talking playoffs, you're talking regular season. He's been very fortunate to not go down and get hurt, okay?
Right.
Now, a lot of teams who see that, they start looking for little bitty cracks in the armor, right? Whether it's the offensive line, whether it's the fact he shut down the running. If you shut down the passing game, his running game, it sucks. Vice versa. That's really any quarterback, really. But I mean, the thing is, though, is that the big part about beating the Eagles is getting ahead of them. Because you get ahead of them, make them try to fight back. Sometimes they got to fight for it. Sometimes they don't. We early in the year we saw a lot of games when the Washington Commanders can hold them for 3 quarters and then blow it in the fourth. That was a key that this team is not quite ready. Now, Dallas got really fortunate and took full advantage of them 2 weeks ago, and did that at home. Which, by the way, as I say again, playing at Cowboy Stadium, AT&T Stadium, whatever we're going to call the Death Star. Either way you look at it, it has truly become a home field advantage, which has only taken 10 fucking years for it to happen.
Yeah,
okay?
I was going to say, it took them a long time.
Because before that, they were only 10 plus games won in that damn stadium before the season started. Now they have won every game there. Kudos to them. The biggest problem we'll get into the Cowboy problems here eventually, but for the Eagles' problem is that they know they're good, but now they're coasting because just like the Cowboys, they've already clinched.
Right.
Okay. Now you worry about, do we want to risk getting him hurt this far ahead? Because if he gets hurt and gets hit with a 6-week injury and the season's only got 2 more weeks to go, after this week, what do we do? Because do we trust our backup? Do we trust him to move the ball down the field? Probably not. So Dallas got the same problem. Dallas got the same, and they got the injuries to prove it too. Tyron Smith, big shock, he's out again. So I mean,
is he out again?
Yeah,
that hurts this football team when Tyron Smith is not in the frickin' lineup.
But here's the thing, though, they're so used to it now.
That's true.
I mean, in some cases, it's, what are you doing? You're like disappearing.
I adjusted because my back hurts.
Wow. Okay. Anyway, look.
Fuck you.
Folks, we're live.
Anyway, hold on.
Okay, here we go.
But I have to admit, you earlier in the season, you were talking about the Philadelphia Eagles compared to the Dallas Cowboys, okay? And that comparison came into the fact of how they were beating football teams. Philadelphia, the Dallas Cowboys turn into teams they should. Philadelphia barely getting by. So I was. Yeah, so I'll admit I was wrong in that case because that really did prove a situation, because now they're on that 3-game losing streak. We found the excuse let me rephrase. I found the excuse of that 3 games in 10 days thing, which it is real, but really good football teams just get over it, and guess what? The Philadelphia Eagles, they just didn't get over it. And they have been reeling ever since that whole turn of event. But then again, we talk about it all the time with the Dallas Cowboys. When is it most important for the Dallas Cowboys to win football games? December. November, yes, they should win some. But December, it's really the deciding factor on where your season is going to be for the Dallas Cowboys. You can reverse that over to the Philadelphia Eagles and say, hey, you got to win games in December. Well, guess what? They haven't won a game in December. They haven't won since in November. So, and depending on what's going to end up happening here today, depending on what you think that will happen with the Philadelphia Eagles as far as where they are, do you think what's going to happen there? So watch out. We'll see what happens. But as far as the Dallas Cowboys are concerned, looking at what they did last week, so let's start, since we're here, let's start with that Dallas Cowboy game, because this is an interesting game. And seeing where the Dallas Cowboys are and what they did, the only difference is it's just going to be a little bit nicer in Miami than it is going to be in Buffalo. I have not checked the weather report yet on that game. It's going to have a lot to do with what happens in this football. I say whatever you want about talent to Dak, getting it to whoever he needs to do. The weather is going to be a factor in that game because of what happened up in Buffalo. Proved my point. That's an all grass field as well over in Miami, so it's not turf, which the Dallas Cowboys on turf are obviously unbeatable this year. So what's the weather like? I see you're looking it up. What's the weather going to be in Miami?
Actually, I'm looking up something far different from what you're talking about weather-wise, because I mean that's gonna be
Well, then give me a second. I'll get that. I'll get that up because this was a big part on who I was going to pick in the game. Weather
Okay.
is a big. All right. So Miami weather. Let's see. It's sunny. Okay. All right. Oh no, that's Sunday, not sunny. All right. So in Miami, it's supposed to rain today. Well, no, and then
just like Buffalo.
listen, that's the scary thing. So here's what Dallas has to do. Dallas has to step up and say, guess what? We got to prove we can win games here because depending on how the playoffs work and everything, they may be on that same field, same type of field next year. And I hate the excuse the field makes a difference, but it does, especially for a team like the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas Cowboys on turf kind of remind me of the Rams. The Rams, when they play on turf, back in the day where Kurt Warner was there, they were unbeatable on turf. Of course, they call it the greatest show on turf for a reason. The Dallas Cowboys got a little mini moniker of that because they do play good on turf. They play great indoors. Whether of course, they kind of, what it kind of reminds me of is when you take a kid outside when it's raining and they start whining and pouting because it's raining. They don't want to be in it. It's kind of like the Dallas Cowboys. They don't want to be in it. So that being said, taking a look at Miami and Dallas. In Miami, what's your take? I mean, you dove into this game because you always do.
I did.
What do you got going on as far as this is concerned?
All right. Okay. Remember we used to, before the Cowboys play the Eagles, what was the big knock on the Cowboys? They didn't play anybody special yet, right?
Exactly.
Okay. Here's who Miami has faced.
Yes.
They beat the Chargers by 2.
Well, that was week 1, so that was the anticipation.
Sonny, shut up. You've already.
Oh no! Wait, hold on. I'm interjecting because week 1, everybody is good, even the Chargers as bad as they are.
All right. Okay. Week 2, Patriots beat them by 7.
Yes.
Week 3, the Broncos beat them by 50. That was a 70-20 blowout.
That was the bitch slap.
Yeah. Then the Bills beat them by 28. Then they played the Giants, beat them by 15. Then they played the Panthers, beat them by 21. Then the Eagles played them. Eagles beat them by 14. Then they played the Patriots again, beat them by 14.
Mm-hmm.
Then the Chiefs came to tell. Then they went to the Chiefs, and the Chiefs beat them by 7. Then they played the Raiders, beat them by 7. Then the Dolphins played the Jets, beat them by 21. Math is not my strong suit, folks, just in case you're wondering. Okay. Then they played the Commanders, beat them 45-15 by 30 points. Then the Titans had them recently. Titans beat them by 1. And, of course, the Dolphins beat the Jets 30-0. That has been the Miami Dolphins' record this year as a team. I can't say they beat any world beaters. Okay, they haven't beaten the team that has been. Now the teams that have been the ones that have been talked about have beat them. The Eagles,
right?
Whoever else, right? So Miami has the same problem the Cowboys had 2 weeks ago. We got to beat somebody.
Yes.
That's the driving now. The fact that it's their hometown, that's a driving force for them. Here's what the Cowboys can argue can turn that argument around with and say, we've never lost back-to-back games this year. Unlike the Niners, unlike the Eagles, we've never lost 3 straight games in a row. Or for this matter, 2 straight games in a row. Teams have gotten a hold. Some teams have gotten a hold of us, shook us, and we moved on and we destroyed the next team that was on the schedule.
Which you should.
That is between that and the fact that it's on paper it looks like Dallas should win. I'm just looking at the intangibles right now, the injury issues that they're going on. The fact that they've already clinched. Miami hasn't clinched yet, but Dallas has already clinched. So how anxious are they into sitting there and go, well, let's keep our starters in there for all 4 quarters and risk what could possibly be a season-ending injury to someone who doesn't need to be getting injured right now.
Yep.
I mean, not anybody needs to be injured, but then again, if it's CeeDee Lamb, you're fucked. If it's Dak Prescott, you're fucked. If it's Tony Pollard, you might be able to get by. But I mean, that's
Injuries
the
to key guys.
Yeah,
Makes a big difference.
and especially on that offensive line because they already lost
Yep.
Tyron Smith for this week. Tyreek Hill is back this week.
Yep.
He's going to be playing. Waddle's playing this week. They got a two-headed monster at running back right now. Miami does.
Yep.
And say what you want to about Tua. Here's the problem Cowboys have had since the Cardinals. If they play a quarterback they're not quite familiar with, they don't do so well. Now, the Chargers was a whole different story, but then they played the Chargers last year and they beat them. So, I do think that the unfamiliarity of a certain quarterback always plays into the favor of that team, not the Cowboys, because Dallas does not. You are materializing like crazy. Let me tell you, you're like blending in and
I know because I don't have a green screen.
I know. See,
but anyway, hold on 1 second because I got to bring him in here because he is here. It is the one, the only Obi-Wan. I put WON for him because the guy always won. The guy beat my ass every single thing except darts. Oh, by the way.
Yeah.
So I haven't talked to Obi. Obi, who is the best dart player you ever played darts against?
Well, it wasn't you. I don't know. I mean,
it was me. I'm unbeatable, especially if I'm drinking. You can't beat me in darts. I don't know what it is.
I cannot picture Sonny drinking. I'm sorry. I just can't
that's the only thing I have a claim to fame against Obi on, which is my dart playing days. That's it. He kicked my ass in everything. I got the occasional win here, to keep me coming back to try to do it, but he beat me. Pool, bowling, golf. He bitch slapped me on the golf course so many times that I just it's like, you gotta be kidding me. Anyway, but and by the way, this goes to what Podfather says about me all the time. When we were bowling, I was bowling every day. This guy come in once a week and kick my ass. He didn't practice. He didn't do it. And no. He just kicked my ass. It's just irritating. How you doing, Obi? Good to see you.
I loved every minute of it.
I bet you, and guess what? I'd be mad at you if you didn't. Or if you weren't. Yes.
Sonny and I were, we were alike. We were very competitive.
Yep.
And it was, and that's the way I grew up. I had a big brother who was better at me mostly in every sport, and so I tried to do things to get better. It just made me mad when I lost to him. So I can understand where somebody's coming from, but I'm doing fine.
I call us team. I call us team John McEnroe. Is what.
Yes. Oh God. Especially out in the golf course.
Oh God.
John McEnroe.
Let's just say kids should not be around if you don't want to hear MF or all. Every swing. Yeah. So
we were more like John Daly out on the golf course drinking.
Which by the way, John Daly, he's gonna be a great Santa if he decided to do it. If you've seen a picture of him lately, he's actually shedding weight. He's not drinking as much. But
John Daly is a great bad Santa.
I love. Oh God, I love John Daly. He's not a hero, but I love hearing stories about him. Regardless, he's great. Because let's be honest, golf is not a sport; it's a recreation. Just Tiger got really good at the recreation. That's all it is, But good to see you, Obi.
I'm doing fine. Happy Merry Christmas Eve Day, whatever you want to say.
Exactly.
So I wanted to take out some time.
Happy Festivus.
Yes. I wanted to take out some time this morning. It was interesting that I came in when you guys are talking about the Dallas and the Dolphins game.
Yes.
This game, I mean, earlier in the year it could have been intriguing, but I think
Yeah.
the Podfather said some interesting things as I was waiting in the waiting room. Is the Cowboys have already clinched a playoff spot, right? Have they
Yes.
clinched their division?
Yes.
They haven't clinched their division.
No. They haven't clinched the division yet.
They have a chance to if the
Okay.
Eagles keep losing, but yeah.
Here's the thing: they do have something to play for, and that's home field advantage throughout the playoffs.
Not throughout the it would depend on how the Niners do because the Niners still got the number one seed. Yeah.
Right. But if the Niners trip up, Cowboys are there. So Cowboys can't really, I don't want to say give this game to the Dolphins,
No.
but they do have something to play for. So I think here's what I see happening in today's game. It could be a different scenario for each. One is they go down to Miami and Miami's speed just overwhelms them in the first half and the Cowboys are down big. The starters sit in the second half.
Agree.
Why would you risk somebody getting hurt? Dak or CeeDee Lamb.
Especially going to next week when you got the Lions coming up after this.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
and the Lions are NFC. So
North,
yeah. But I see the other thing is if the Cowboys are up at halftime, do you keep the pressure on and keep your starters in to make San Francisco watch you to see if you win? So, it's. But I honestly think I picked the Dolphins to win today. I just think that
I did too.
I think that they have speed all over the field, and it's speed kills. I'm telling you, you can't defend it.
Well, and like I told Sonny earlier, Miami hadn't beaten anybody this year. This is their opportunity to beat somebody of value this year. Okay, and make a statement. Yeah, you put up 70 points against the Broncos, who weren't doing that great then, and really are kind of suspects today still. But I mean, they weren't a front runner. They weren't one of the top 4 teams in the league. To where Dallas, who has pretty much put away majority of all the bad teams they played this year, put up an average of 35 to 40 points, and have done it in a very convincing way. To where can we now see you're still materializing? Anyway,
Would you just give me a break? It's a makeshift stage today. You get off of my fat ass, please.
First of all, it's 2013, okay? Let's just...
Yes.
Anyway, yeah. Sonny, you
I agree. I mean, I picked the Dolphins. I mean, they're playing at home. They want to make a statement. Speed. It's just I think their Dolphins head coach is going to pull out a bunch of. I wouldn't say. I think he's gonna want to make a point in the first half, and he's gonna bring out some plays that maybe they haven't seen all year, and you just put it on the Cowboys in the first half.
I agree. It's funny. I look at their coach and I think of Moneyball. Don't know why. I just think Moneyball. He looks like a guy who sits in front of a computer most of the time and doesn't even actually go on the field at all. But
exactly.
But you know what though? They've won. They've done very well with him this year as their coach. He's done a good job of turning of all teams of Miami Dolphins. Think about it. When was the last time Miami was actually good? I mean,
and it wasn't even in the Tannehill days, so it's been a long time.
I mean, you go back to Jimmy Johnson. He had to try to make that work with him and Marino. Marino was the last quarterback ever taken to a Super Bowl. And that was in the 80s. So, I mean, it's like, I'm impressed with what's going on with Miami. But they ain't played nobody. The same argument that as a Cowboy fan, I would hear constantly until 2 weeks ago. And nowadays, when you hear it now, you're going, well, yeah, but the Eagles are falling apart now. So now they're both an excuse.
Wait a second. We're still talking about who they played and won. Okay, that being the Dallas Cowboys. So that didn't stop 2 weeks ago. It's still continuing.
Right.
Just because they beat Seattle, I wasn't impressed, but we're still up on that same deal.
Right. But the thing is, though, is that, when they finally beat a team that mattered, people were saying, "Well, the Eagles are hurt." Okay, they still beat them, but it don't matter. I mean, the fact is, we gotta beat who's in front of you, and that's what the Dolphins have tried to do. So the Cowboys have tried to do. Dolphins find themselves in the same situation the Cowboys were 2 weeks ago. They got to beat a team that matters because right now you're not going to go into the playoffs playing with any confidence, knowing the fact you got the Ravens, you got I can't think of who else is in the AFC that's going to go, but I mean, oh shit, who's in the AFC West that's actually good this year?
Nobody except Kansas City.
Yeah, and Kansas City is right, and they've already lost Kansas City earlier in the year. So
yeah.
So I mean, the thing is though is that the AFC is really wide open when you think about it because, with the exception of the Ravens and possibly Miami, there's really no one else out there that really kind of factor. I mean, Miami looks dangerous on paper because of all of their wins and losses, but then it's who they actually beat. That's what's going to get them. Same argument for the Cowboys. I mean, if they somehow miraculously, and I say miraculously, they win today, and they got Detroit next week, and somehow, some way, now it's in Dallas, so they probably have a good chance of winning. But because they beat, let's say they beat the Lions, then they beat the Commanders, then I feel a little bit better about them going to the playoffs with an idea of who they are. But if they lose today, they got Detroit. They have to win the last 2 games, because I think they can beat the Commanders, no questions asked, unless they rest everybody, because once again they've already clinched. So once again they're not playing for anything. Home field advantage, while it does mean something for this team, may not mean anything for them in the playoffs, because remember a lot of road teams in the playoffs last year advanced.
Absolutely.
So I mean, it's hit or miss on when it comes to that whole thing. I don't trust Dallas to do that, but then again, I don't trust Dallas to do a lot of things either, because I've got 27 years of history behind me says that don't trust what they do. So
yeah. Well, think about this. When you think about this, Trey, Dallas, with where they've got to what they need to do, okay? They need to somehow win this division. I mean, really, they have to. It's one of those things because they need that home game. They need that, at least that home game. If you're going to travel, I think you can count the Dallas Cowboys out. They need that home game, so they're going to have to win this division. They'll get the wild card home game, and then let's see how they're able to do it. However, Miami is a different monster. We talk about OB is right. Speed kills, but guess what? Speed kills, but maybe not necessarily, because they're losing against teams that are good. So maybe speed kills against bad football teams. So maybe they'll expose the Dallas Cowboys more than what they are with that speed and everything, whether or not they can do it at home. Now, that also being said, Miami doesn't they have a tough road to hoe in order to gain that top spot in the AFC. They got Dallas this week. They got the Ravens next week, and then they end with the Buffalo Bills. That is a bitch slap of a last 3 games that you can possibly get, especially if you are the Dolphins. The other side of that, Dallas, they got the Lions. They have who else? The Washington, and what other team? Podfather,
Lions. The Lions.
Yeah, they got the Lions, and who else? They got 2 games after that.
The Lions and the Commanders.
Lions and Commanders, and then Miami today, and Philadelphia. As far as their final 3 games, let's see.
I'll tell you. Hang on. The Eagles have the Giants tomorrow. They have next week. They have the Cardinals,
and then they got the Giants again. I think they got 2 against the Giants.
Yes. So
2 again.
I see 3-0.
It's This is horrible for the Dallas Cowboys as far as where they want to do to try to win that division. But if the Eagles keep playing the way that they've been playing for the last 3 weeks, this is they just got to keep up with them. Now, whether or not they can keep up with them, that's going to be the case. We start that today. against Miami. I think they'll get the last two. I think that'll just all depends on how bad they lose this game today. Yeah, I just said it. I am on the Miami Dolphins today.
I think all three of us
just
are.
The road, what happened in Buffalo last week, and you're going to have the same kind of turf that's out there.
But having said that, though, but like I said, though, under this current regime, Dallas does not lose 2 games in a row.
Oh, so what?
I'm just saying.
So what? They got 3. They got 3 tough games to go. They can very easily do that. If the 49ers thought that earlier in the year, they wouldn't have lost the 3 games in a row. I listen. The Dallas Cowboys are capable of doing anything and everything, and whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, 3 times in a row every year if they get the opportunity. I don't know. I don't trust that. We haven't lost 3 in a row because I'm sure earlier in the season, the 49ers didn't think that they would lose 3 in a row either.
Yeah, but which by the way brings you the whole thing about the Niners. I mean, I forgot who the next 3 games they've got this week. I know they got the Ravens tonight, or tomorrow night. But
tomorrow night, that's the game of the week.
Yeah, game of the week. But do you see the Niners streaking into the playoffs? I mean, do we see the Eagles streaking into the playoffs? I see the Eagles streaking into the playoffs because of who they got to play.
I see them tripping in. I do, and that's mainly because of their schedule. And by the way, Podfather, just to let you know, if Philadelphia can't finish up that schedule undefeated, they don't deserve to be in the damn playoffs, but they'll make it anyway because they're already clinched. So that also being said, the Dallas Cowboys have to step up every year at the end of the season, starting in December. And hey, I'll give credit where credit is due. They've stepped up. And of course, they took the loss last week, but that didn't surprise me anyway. This game here is the team of a game of the teams that are the same exact, like you said. Who'd you play this year? Who'd you lose to? Kind of thing. So you're right. So this team, whoever wins this week, as far as Miami and Dallas, will have the leg up going into the playoffs. Obviously, the Dolphins in the AFC, and then the Cowboys in the NFC. But man, I watched the 49ers, Podfather, man. I don't know who can beat them. I really don't. I not even the Cowboys at home. That would be if they got that way, which it wouldn't. It
won't happen in the playoffs now.
But yeah, even if that happened, I don't see how anybody beats the 49ers right now, barring any injuries that are going on, to key personnel. But the 49ers are a tough out each and every week so far this year. So
it's all the whole thing I go back to with the NFL in general. Any given Sunday, somebody can always stomp their toe. Someone can always get the wrong call. Someone can always. There's always ways teams can lose this game. Okay,
right.
If Dallas wins today, if Dallas can full out win today, then I do think going into next week's game against Detroit, Dallas will have the leg up because they got the home field. B, they've now beaten 2 teams that actually kind of matter. And I mean, if you want to go Seattle, fine, 3 then. But I know.
Thank you for at least that. I know it's sometimes hard for you to admit something, but thank you for admitting that Seattle maybe not. That
record wise, when they played them, they were a team with a winning record. So, I mean, if we're gonna call everything, which people want to do that when it comes to how they want to voice their opinion about the Cowboys, then let's just call a spade, okay? But having said that, by the way, I think Gino's back this week too, so good for them.
Supposedly, that was the concussion protocol that he was rolling through. So, I wouldn't trust Seattle today. Who I don't even care. I forgot who they're playing, but I don't.
It's right behind. It's right behind you. I think you're burying them right now.
Oh yeah, there it is. Tennessee.
Yeah. Well, by the way, how sweet was it that Tennessee decked up the whole Houston Oilers thing last week? Didn't win, but the whole Houston Oilers got the jerseys on, got the entire stadium saying Houston Oilers. It was so badass. God, I miss those colors. I mean, look, I I get it. That's a Houston thing, and I shouldn't like that, but I miss that.
I hate it.
Know? Okay,
but the irony of that is they were playing the Tennessee Titans or the Houston Texans.
Yeah, I know, right?
so they.
So yeah, it was like, yeah, I dug it, but that's just me though.
Are you done beating the dog?
Oh God, that damn dog! It's my brother's dog. It's my brother's dog, and he doesn't say nothing. And then, as you guys are talking, I look at my peripheral vision, and there he is squatting. I was like, "What the?" Oh.
Hey, Obi, is your brother called Obi too?
Yes. No.
Okay.
He's He's actually Obi-Wan, and I'm actually Obi-2.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
In the roundabout
Obi-Wan here. So yeah.
All right.
So we're all on Miami.
You're right.
Yeah.
Even the Podfather, and that's why I call him a Cowboy realist. Most Cowboy fans, they're gonna beat them. Parts of me wanted to take the Dallas Cowboys, but man, I just don't see it.
You
Again, the weather in Miami.
You should take the Cowboys though, because you are so far down your picks right now.
No, I don't. So wait,
Hulk Hogan NWO beard is going to be coming
no,
out.
I'm going to do. Listen. I've already reserved the realm that I'm not going to get up there, so I know that's coming. There's no way I'm going to get out of it. You're going to beat me, which pisses me off. But anyway, it is just what it is.
I did not want to grow my hair out for a year. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I did not want to grow my hair out for a year.
Was that the bet? I mean, wait, we didn't do that. It's the bet for the whole year?
For the whole year. I was going to grow.
I didn't know that. I might have tried a little harder. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe I would have really looked at that. 1 week just killed me. I only got 4 or 5. And I started off with a win. I was like, oh, maybe it's going to come back down to reality here. I don't know. But anyway, that being said, that's going to be a good game. But let's do this. I mean, since Obi is here, your Cleveland Browns are in action this week, and they are taking on the Houston Texans. And they get their guy back.
The Texans.
Yeah, they don't get their. So he's not playing. I thought he was going to play.
No, he's not playing. He's out.
Who's it going to be? Davis Mills, or is it going to be the
Case Keenum? I think
Case Keenum. They got a better chance of winning with Case Keenum. Just because of experience. He was a starter in the NFL for a long time. Wasn't great, but
so was Andy Dalton, and we didn't trust him either.
Well, hold on. You're right about that. I mean, but I'm just saying, as far as who are you going to play, Davis Mills hasn't won at all. Okay, he just puts his neck on the line. Just said that in case if you don't know the joke, fine, that's fine. But he put his neck on the line every single week a couple years back and just couldn't get the job done. And so he hasn't stepped into that role where he can take it over and be that guy week in and week out. So now we have to make the decision where you're going to go. You go Case Keenum, because guess what? As far as the divisions are concerned, as far as the division that they play in, they got a chance to even still do some damage. 8-6, tied with the Jaguars and the Colts. So this division hasn't been decided yet. They got a chance to roll in. Case Keenum gets the opportunity to keep the chair warm to see if they can get CJ back in time for the playoffs. So it's going to be his job to be the backup quarterback, and that is probably one of the better backup quarterbacks in the NFL because of the experience and because of winning and things of that sort. But this week, listen, you say whatever you want. I mean, and you can hate the Browns because that would just be the right thing to do. Their defense is Obi's giving me the look like, or is he frozen? I think he's frozen. Does your head move, Obi? There it goes. All right, so you should hate them.
I'm disappointed too, Obi. It's okay.
The defense of the Cleveland Browns puts them in every single game that they play if they can get quarterback play. And I'm not talking fantastic, the game manager, the guy that will just not screw it up. And I don't know if they got that right now. Houston seems to be playing well. And they got something to play for. But so the Browns got something to play for. they got Joe Flacco at the quarterback position, which, by the way, OB, you should really hate that idea because they beat Joe Flacco is beat up. See, I thought he was frozen because his head wasn't moving. He'll be back, but they got Joe Flacco, who was beating up on the AFC North for many years, coming in. So he should actually hate the fact that Joe Flacco is there, but he should be thankful. He's one of the better backups in the NFL as far as that is concerned. There he is back there because your head wasn't moving. So, I was
I don't know.
I thought you were frozen when they.
He was just
Yeah.
You, don't worry
you
about
got to do the hands. You got to do the Sonny Clark.
Don't do that. Don't do that, Sonny, because you're materializing.
So I didn't. So,
but how do you feel about today's game? This one should be quite interesting.
Well, all I'm going to say is, first of all, I don't know what's going on with my internet. It's kind of being weird, so I just want to let you guys know that.
Spotty.
So I am very nervous about today's game. I picked my Browns. I'm always going to pick my Browns, but I'm very nervous. This is a game. If it was in Cleveland, I wouldn't be as nervous. But this is at Houston. Houston has a lot to play for, just like the Browns. And for some reason, the Browns like to play down to their. I'm not saying that Houston's down, but they like to play towards their competition, and they make it close. And as one of the things that one of my good high school buddies, who's a Browns fan, he said last week after we won and came back to one, he said the cardiac kids are back. Yes, they are the cardiac kids again.
They stole that from the Cardinals, by the way.
The cardiac kids were back in the 80s with the Browns, by the way. But it's time that I go to that point of I don't like the Browns' chances today. They burn me, so I'm just going to say that Browns win. It's going to be a close game, and it could come down to the last possession again. And is our kicker going to have another one in his foot? I think so.
Keep it real.
I am keeping it real.
You got to, and you can't trust them. And by the way, okay, so I'm going to ask Obi, seeing how well Baker Mayfield is doing down in Tampa, don't you wish you had him as the starting quarterback this week? That being said, listen, and I'll go back to what I was saying because you bolted out. You should hate the fact that Joe Flacco is your quarterback. I mean, he beat up on you guys in the AFC North for how many years before he started to slide? So now you got the guy that beat the hell out of you on your football team. So, how do you feel about Joe Flacco as of right now? Taking on your team to go and try to win.
I'd rather have Joe Flacco back there than anybody else on our team right now.
Wow.
DTR is too young, too inexperienced. Walker is the same, young, inexperienced. Hey, when that guy that's in our backfield right now taking the snaps, when that guy was with Baltimore, I hated his guts.
You should.
And I think of his entire career with Baltimore, I think he lost 2 games against Cleveland. 2.
And that was 2 games a year for 10 years. So 20 games. He's 18-2 in reality, basically.
Yes. Against Cleveland. But now he's in our backfield. And like he said last week after the game, he's like, hey, these Cleveland fans are great fans, and I just find it I think he pretty much said, I find it ironic that I'm here and be able to help this team. And I'm along for the ride. And I hope that we go, I hope we get to the promised land. He said something like that. So, hey, we're on his wagon. Let's go.
Listen, Joe Flacco is not a bad guy to have there. So interestingly enough, this game right here has big time
playoffs. Don't talk about playoffs. You kidding me? Playoffs? I just hope we can win a game.
time playoff implications.
Yes.
In this one, for both teams,
Yes.
because Cleveland needs this game. I mean, if you look at the division and where they're at, the Ravens are running away with it right now at 11-3. You're 9-5 with your Browns. Steelers haven't been mathematically eliminated from the playoffs, but they might as well be. Even with the win yesterday, I think that was a fluke kind of thing that happened. If that was, the regular quarterback, we wouldn't be talking about a Steeler win yesterday. But even the Bengals are still alive. And this AFC North, every single year. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, it's way too spotty. I'm going to have.
Yeah.
I will try to listen to you guys on Facebook. And,
you bet.
I'll put some messages in there if you want to.
Yeah, we'll look for him. Sounds good. There goes Obi. But, in reality, let me just switch this back to that. And there we go. And do Kim. There we go. So, that being said, the way things that are working out for Cleveland, the way things are working out for Houston, they're gonna whoever ends up. I think they're one and done in the playoffs, but you got to get to the promised land. You got to at least get to the playoffs to where jobs are somewhat secure and things of that sort. That being said, I think Stefanovic, the head coach of this Browns team, is, I think, one of those coaches that need this just to keep him, not just for next year, I think for the year after as well. If he is able to get the Cleveland Browns the way that they are with really no quarterback in reality, and also Joe Flacco doing just what he's able to do, and you have a Super Bowl caliber quarterback, may not be as talented as he was when he won it, but hey, he's there. So looking at this game, I'm going to throw this over to you. Cleveland and Houston, this one it had the toss up on me in reality, because I like what Houston is doing, even if they bring in the backup. They're home. So what's your take on Cleveland and Houston this week?
That Cleveland defense is just too overpowering for anybody right now.
I think you're right.
And their head coach right now, for any time that team has ever lost a game, I never put down the head coach. That's the players on that field that have let that thing happen. Not having the right offensive quarterback at the time, not having the right system in place for that quarterback. That's always been kind of the issue, because a lot of coaches kind of come in here and say, you're going to play under my system. And some quarterbacks are going to go, I don't play under that system. That's hit and miss with every team out there.
Absolutely.
Can't put it on the coach, though, because the coach was able to put the defense together and have them be the best defense in the league this year. Not having C.J. Stroud, who has a firm command of that offense, I think it's going to hurt them. Yes, Case Keenum, he's a starter in the league for a time or two. He's got a better win-loss record than the other quarterback that got there. But we're talking about the Houston Texans, who early in the year had that one matchup that was kind of against the Bengals, I think it was, where let's see how we measure up, and they measured up just as good with Stroud as your quarterback. Not having his leadership, and as a rookie to come in there, I know you don't put any faith in rookie quarterbacks, and
no, I don't.
Yeah, but you can't. You know what? If you watch the game, which I know you do,
I do.
You saw a young quarterback take a young team and put them on his back and say, "We got this."
Yep.
Sometimes they won, sometimes they lost. That's just the league. That's how things are. What's up, Cuervo? But so look, I'm going to go Browns on this one, only because the defense is more powerful than anything offensively Houston can put together, regardless who the quarterback is. I probably would have stayed that way too if Stroud was quarterbacking.
Right.
And the Browns are playing for something. They're playing for the idea of wanting to get to the Ravens. The Ravens are the probably the front runner in the AFC right now, and the fact that they got to share that division with them, they got to match up to them. And this game matters a lot more to Cleveland than does it used.
I totally disagree with that. Well, because and the reason why I do, just so you kind of get it, in reality, what's happening in folks that don't know the background of DeMarco Ryans used to play for the Texans. Now he's coaching the team. He's turned that team around. They got them believing that they can win more so than any other time in reality, as far as the Houston Texans are concerned. I'm just saying it. I like the Browns. I think the Browns win it, but this is the kind of game that really puts it on the line for a young guy like DeMarco Ryan. If the Texans win this game, I'm going to put that on coaching, because that's a guy that's coaching his team saying, listen, this is the game. We got a chance at the playoffs. Let's not screw this up. And he's got those players buying into what he's selling. Now, granted, we just as much as the Dallas Cowboys, Philadelphia, Miami, who have they played? Who have they won? We can do that all day long, and and it could be just the way it is. But I do like that Cleveland Brown defense. I want to go opposite just so I can go opposite against you, but it's just that defense is so dominating. And if it was Flacco on the other end of that defense, I'd say Flacco is going to get flattened. Who's the better quarterback? Is it Joe Flacco, or is it gonna be Case Keenum? Well, let's be honest, they're the same guy, so that means the Cleveland Browns are going to tear up that quarterback, all day long. I think he's going to get sacked 4 times today, if not more, and they're just going to. And if there's a game that has a potential of a blowout, that would be this game, because of Cleveland not letting Houston score. Not that it's going to be I'm talking maybe a 28-7 game, just really rolling on them and just not letting them score. And I think that's what this one's going to boil down to. I'd love to go opposite just so I can get a chance to get a game on you, but I can't, because I want the point. I want the point. And I agree with you, Cuervo. I think it's going to be a close game too. But if that Cleveland defense plays as well as they do, Vegas is rarely wrong, and this game's a 3. So, it could be what it can be, but I could see Cleveland taking off and blowing them out. I can see it. Now, whether or not it'll happen, I don't know, but I can see it, happening today. So,
hey, Sonny.
Yep.
Just a thought. Can you put your regular screen on?
No.
Why not?
I don't want to, because what's behind me is
I know, but when you talk, there's like a delay.
Oh, you think that's from the background?
Yeah, because I did the same thing on my background. I put the officer scene behind me, and I had.
Well, let's just take a look and see if that will do anything. That okay, and crap. Oh, none. See, that's what you get.
That's
in
fine.
The background.
We're keeping it real. Come on.
What? And so, am I not delayed at all?
You're not delayed at all now.
Okay. Welcome to U-Haul. Here's our new sponsor right here. That's all right. We'll leave it that way and go that route. All right. Hey,
we're looking for sponsors, folks. Any sponsor?
Yeah, something like that, right? Yeah. Who knows? And then you'll get the full-fledged
yes, we'll get as opposed to you just kind of blacking out.
All right. So. All right. So then that being said, of course, that's the name of the show. We'll leave it that way. What's the? There we go. Yeah, that's a good sponsor, right? Yeah, why not? So, but only if exactly. We're talking about the blowout. Kareem Hunt, if he starts and gets to go, that could be a long day for for the Houston Texans as far. Well, now I can't see my schedule. Now I got to go a different way about the games. And yeah, I had them right there. I just went right in a row. You just,
I know,
but we'll just do it anyway. All right, makeshift,
quality over quantity, sir.
makeshift. This is a makeshift studio today. So that being said, of course, that's the name of the show. Let's head on into the summit. So we're all on Cleveland. It seems
Right,
like
right.
so. Let's head into the next game that is up on the chart. It would be this is a good game. Seattle and Tennessee. Right now, Tennessee's got the 3 point. Gets the 3 points. Seattle favored by 3. But I think this could be a really good game as far as what type of game that we're going to get. The game right now, it's going to be a nice day in Tennessee, so it's just a little cloudy, 64. So there's no weather issues in Tennessee. Seattle 7-7, Houston 5-9. Or Houston, I just did it. Thanks a lot. I appreciate that. Tennessee with a 5-9 record going into this and getting back to the division as far as Tennessee in the AFC South. They are pretty much out of it. They're 3 games behind, but do they want, what team will show up today? Now, Seattle, total different story as far as where they are, as far as making a playoff run. And not that I don't know if they have a real shot in reality at 7-7. I mean, look at the Niners. They're 11-3. The Rams just won this week, so they're 8-7. They need this game to stay at least in the running.
They're neck and neck with them right now. So I mean,
yeah,
they're playing for something. Whereas Tennessee is playing for absolutely nothing. So
yeah, and say whatever you want. The NFC South is weak this year as far as the playoffs. So that's a team that could possibly get in there and go in there. And you're right. There is a concern when you don't have a guy that brings what he brings, that being Walker, to this football team. It takes away from if they are going to dominate to whether or not are they capable of dominating without him if he's not going to be there. So, and I think as far as Seattle is concerned, with the fact that this game is, Seattle's on the road, and the fact Tennessee has nothing to play for, and this team gave up in the middle of the season in reality when they started wanting to get rid of guys, and getting rid of guys, or how it's gonna play out for the rest of the season. You don't know what you're gonna get. Right now the Tennessee Titans are the box of chocolates. You don't know what you're gonna get week in and week out, if they're gonna come to play, if they're not. They don't have anything to play for. Seattle does. So that's the reason why I'm going to kind of hang on Seattle's side of this to get the victory. Even though they're on the road, Tennessee's usually a pretty good home team. That's what bothers me. But like Cuervo said, Walker not being in there, that changes the kind of outlook on the game.
It does, but and like you said, Tennessee going away on this one to Tennessee to play them. Tennessee is possibly the odds-on favorite because of home field, but then again, Seattle's got some fight. Okay, Seattle's now they play dirty just like the Cowboys do. That's why they're one of the most penalized teams in the league.
Yes.
But they do it in a way to where they make it stick. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
yes.
they're going to go up against a team that's pretty battered, pretty beat up. And quite frankly, probably has a lot of soul taken out of them right now. Feels to me, I just go all Houston all the time, wear the Oiler colors just for the hell of it. I mean, the only good thing I can see about that. But
I'm glad the Texans went total different colors. I am when they did that. So
yeah, you could be wrong.
You have
this 2013
I can't find my cup or I drink it.
Yeah. So, but. I like Seattle in this. Geno Smith needs a game like this, I think, to not to silence people like you who don't already like him, but
right.
I know you do, but he needs a game like this to sit there and go, look, he's in the worst division there is for a quarterback like him. Okay, if he was in a division to where you had every team was 50-50. That'd be one thing. But the Niners are not 50-50. So I think for him to come out of this thing, he's to play error free. He cannot make a mistake in this game because this is a team that, quite frankly, makes tons of mistakes.
Right.
And if he gives them a quarter, they're going to take $1. I mean, it's just, I mean, that's just how it is. So, yeah, like Cuervo says, I like Seattle too. Mark it down. Go ahead. Give me your pick. I know you're the same as me because you're not going to beat me. Go ahead.
No, I am on Seattle, but I'm gonna go to what Cuervo's asking. Mike Vrabel is coaching for his job.
He's got one more year.
Listen,
he's got one more year.
And no, he's done. I mean, the writing was on the wall in the middle of the season for this guy, and that's not by his fault. That is because the organization, well, if the organization was smart, they would keep Mike Vrabel, okay,
Wow.
and get him some friggin' talent is what he needs. All right, we can blame the coaches all day long, but if they have a lack of talent on the football team, it takes away. You can only put so much on the shoulder of Henry to run the football. I mean, listen, we talk about 1,000 yards being supposedly the best thing for a football. Wow, great running back, 1,000 yards. That still doesn't impress me. And Derrick Henry is not hitting that. So they're putting a lot on Derrick Henry's shoulders, and now they're not getting the result with it. So now they got to figure out what they're going to do for next season. So it just all depends on how the ownership is going to go as far as this team is concerned next year. Are they going to just keep the same crap players, or are they going to actually take a step out there and go? And I heard this. By the way, I heard this rumor, what Obi is putting on those that are listening. Ohio State might be a place where you could see Mike Vrabel. I've heard that rumor through there. So, and see what and Cuervo is right. Unless they're going to make him the guy of the franchise, but that means you got to help, Henry. You got it. Those not watching, they need to try to trade Henry in the offseason, according to Cuervo. But that just depends upon the direction of the franchise.
But what they might do is pay Henry more money than they should pay a running back, and then you're gonna have the same problem you run to like you run to all these other teams where they're paying one top guy so much money they can't afford to pay anybody else on their team, and then people like you will sit there.
Whoa! Wait a second.
What?
Hold on. I vaguely remember.
I also let me finish. Let me finish my thought, okay? Let me finish my thought, okay? Before you start crazy, because you're kind of batshit crazy today. You think it's 2013. Look, what I'm saying is Tennessee is not the kind of team to be given a lot of money to one player in hopes that other players are going to follow suit and come here for lower value. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Now, that's where teams are running that mistake, paying the Lamar Jacksons and whoever else is of the world. But once again, Lamar Jackson's got the number one team in the AFC. So there is that. As much as it pains you to think that, as much. So, look, Baltimore can get players. Tennessee can't. That's how it is.
Well, that being said, just really quick, they do have Henry. Depending on what they're going to pay him if they keep him, they do have Hopkins. They're lacking at quarterback in reality. That's been the problem. Their defense is a Vrabel defense, so they can just get a couple of people in free agencies in there to shore that up. This is a football team that needs quarterback.
Yeah, and they've had a quarterback since McNair.
If you want to call it, yeah, I got a few choice opinions about Steve McNair, but that
okay. Well, I mean, let's not kick the man while he's in the grave. Come on now.
But the reason why he's in the grave, anyway, we'll go away from that.
It had nothing to do with this quarterback play. But anyway, so anyway, look, I think Vrabel should stay for one more year. Okay,
I think he should too.
I think Derrick Henry not Derrick Henry. I'm mind blown. Henry should stay, but it should make sense for the team to keep him. Okay.
Yes.
If you can find a running back a lot cheaper in the draft who can do the same thing that Henry can do, then by all means, cut your losses. Go get a rookie.
You're not going to get that. You're going to get at best maybe 75% of Henry because he brings you. But compared to this year,
then you find the other 25% of Henry with your second running back. Because once again, this is the league now that is based off running back by committee. There is no real true number one running back that much anymore. I mean, there's a couple, but they're not flooding the market out there like they used to.
Well, they're just not paying them.
There was once again. Zeke Elliott can prove that. You pay a guy a lot of money and you get very little.
That's where it started. That's where it started. Jerry Jones pulling out that purse of his and filling his pockets with money. And everybody in the NFL realized, as owners was like, well, maybe we shouldn't do this. So it's probably more of that. And Cuervo, McCaffrey is the exception.
Right.
That's a guy you pay as long as he's on the 49ers. If he's on any other football team, I don't think that the people are going to pay for a McCaffrey. You got to pay him to keep him in San Francisco is what's going to end up happening, because if he hits the free market, and I don't know what his contract situation is, they're still not going to pay even McCaffrey as great as he is. It's just unfortunate.
Especially as beat up as he is.
Yeah, well, this year, and that goes back to a theory of mine. When he was with the Panthers, was he really injured or was he just hurt? And he was just like, I play for a team that sucks. Why am I going to kill my career? Don't
you hate players like that though? Like
what?
Don't you hate players like that sit there and go, man, I'm just not really feeling it this year with this team. I'm hurt. I think my hamstring hurts.
I hate it. Yeah, but in McCaffrey's case, though, he's the only one that I didn't hate it. I normally do. That drives me nuts. But McCaffrey, it was a lose-lose situation, whether it was bringing back Cam Newton, not even working on the offensive line. He gets, I'll just say, hurt. And he's like, screw this. I'm not injured, but why go back? We're 2-14 for God's sake. What am I doing here? And I get where he's coming from on that. And I think he did. He sandbagged it. That's not even a question. I know he did, because all you got to do is look at those first 6 games after he got out of there, when he was supposedly hurt in Carolina when they traded him. And then he just started running, and the guy he's been chippy here and there, but he was in the game. And when he's in the game, even if he's hurt, at worst he's a red herring. You got to know where this guy is out on the football field at all times. So he brings that kind of energy to the 49ers. I agree. I think he did not a little. I think he just sandbagged, not even a little. He sandbagged it to get his ass out of there, and he landed in a great spot. Now, I don't remember what San Francisco gave up to get him, but whatever it was,
it wasn't a lot
more, and it would have been okay.
All right, it wasn't a lot they gave up, because I remember we were going to do Officers TV one night, and the trade came across while I think the Cowboys were playing on Thursday night, and next thing I know, my buddy Tommy, who's on our show, who hasn't been on in a while, but he was on there, and he was like, "Whoa, guys, the Niners just picked up Chris McCaffrey." I remember hearing it and going, "Fuck," because I knew what that was. So
you want to talk about a steal, and I say it. This was the best in-season trade, I think, in NFL history.
Well,
there's a few that may come close.
Look, the Herschel Walker trade back in '89.
That one was that's about the only one that's close,
because Dallas raped the Vikings big time with draft choices. So
crazy. So, but
and then they sent him a running back who wasn't quite all there.
Yeah.
But
anyway, All right, where were we? What game were we talking about? This is why I love this show.
We were talking about the Titans and
Thank you.
Whoever they were playing.
Whoever they're playing. So yes, right here. Yes.
Yes.
That's about the only one that's close in reality. It's Seattle and Tennessee. I think we're all on Seattle. This is
great train.
This one's
the great trade robbery. Great trade robbery. Is what
I agree, 100%, 100%.
But you know what though? That was Jimmy Johnson saying, "Look, I can get this, this, and that for that." Yes.
Yeah.
Who would
Hell
want that?
yeah.
Because we're not doing shit here because we were 1-15 at that time. Let's get exactly. Yeah. So let's just, and once again, they're picking that up. So they're going to go into the 1990 draft, right? And they were going to go after, of all people, Ron Francis.
I remember that.
And Ron Francis or no, it was James Francis. They're going to get him. The Bengals traded up to get him.
Mm-hmm.
So Dallas settled for Emmitt Smith. Imagine that. You settle for the NFL's all-time leading rusher.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a miracle how that and once again, that's back when the NFL was a different beast than it is now. But, I mean, almost a better game, too, in my opinion, but only because Dallas was winning.
I think you're right. I agree. I'll agree.
But, I mean, now teams look at a trade like that, and they go, there is no way I'm mortgaging my future for the next 3 to 4 years. No.
Especially for a running back right now. Especially for a running back.
But once again, remember, at that time, Herschel Walker was on the precipice of being the next great, whether you're Walter Payton or whoever you were, right?
Yeah.
But he was with the Cowboys, and the Cowboys had the shit for offensive line. They knew who their quarterback was, and Aitman had just come into the league, and it was like, what are we going to do? It is funny how Herschel did end up finishing his career in Dallas. It is funny.
I think that's how things roll around and come back around. I get it. It's just one of those things. So, but I love it. By the way, just so that you know, Podfather, when we go off the tracks here, that's what makes the show, at least for me. I don't care if anybody else likes it or not. But we are going to get back into the game.
I just like I like that you're not materializing all over the place. This is better.
Yeah. Well, see, at least it's a game that matters or subjects that matter, right?
Be sure you get all your moving stuff from U-Haul, by the way. Sonny, former U-Haul employee, will tell you right now the best quality service of any all moving is up there.
Hey, I had a lot more time to do a lot more things, now, but now I'm just tired all the time. But it is what it is. Now, let's go to an interesting game. And yes, okay, we can sit and talk about how bad the game is, okay? So get ready for it. But it's not in reality because of where the teams are as far as playoffs are concerned. The 8-6 Indianapolis Colts are playing the Atlanta Falcons at home. And the Atlanta Falcons are 6-8. And we talk about where teams end up and things, and the Falcons right now at 6-8 still have an opportunity in this division to still win it. They're at 6-8 because the Buccaneers are 7-7. The Saints lose; they are now 7-8. If Falcons win, they get 7-8. And depending on what Tampa Bay does, we'll talk about that one in a moment. But an interesting game for both teams because they are still alive for the playoff, as far as that is concerned. And you can say whatever you want, but we'll hit some racket. It's only 10:30. We got plenty of time.
No, we gotta go. We gotta go.
But that being said, this one might be the most intriguing game. The best game is Monday Night Football because it could be a Super Bowl preview, if you will. But I think as far as intriguing, Atlanta Falcons, they are just the same Atlanta Falcons even without Matt Ryan as they are now. And I was listening to I forget who it was, but they are already giving up on Riddle. Now, we talk about this guy's a rookie, okay? Rookie quarterbacks, he's doing exactly what rookie quarterbacks do, okay? Mm-hmm. And they're almost blaming the rookie quarterback instead of anywhere else, whether it's the coaching or the players or the defense or whatever. They're putting it all on the shoulders of this Desmond Ridder. And guess what? He wasn't going to be good this year. He was a rookie quarterback. You can't all be CJ Stroud, right? So, he might be second year. Yeah, he's second year, but really a rookie. And so they put it all on this kid's shoulders, and now they're blaming it all on a second-year quarterback. And my problem, and this, I was thinking, I was driving one day, and we were talking about one Lamar Jackson. And I remember everybody giving Lamar Jackson all the crap coming out in the second and third and fourth year. What's that?
Including you.
No. See, you don't know the archives. I was like, you're all over Lamar Jackson after 2 years. Now, no, I don't like him. Don't get me wrong. Now, that part hasn't changed. I never liked the guy. But I defended this guy. This is the second year, and you're putting all of this on his shoulders. Now look where they are. If this guy, and I even said it, I said it on the show, if this guy can remain healthy, that being Lamar Jackson, he's going to win the MVP. And guess what? He stayed healthy. He's going to win the MVP. As long as something drastically don't happen, Lamar Jackson's going to win the MVP. So now that being said, they're doing the same thing in Atlanta that Baltimore people were doing it. The difference is in Baltimore, they stuck with them. And here they are just throwing this guy to the curb. Now, granted, he hasn't played well. He's a rookie quarterback. What are you expecting? That's the difference between Arthur Blank being the owner of this football team and being so involved with the team that it hurts him, sort of like Jerry Jones. He's going to get this guy out of. Now, granted, you can argue all day long, should Desmond Ridder been that guy? And I would have probably agreed with you. But the fact of the matter is they went with him. Now they're bailing on him like he was the worst quarterback that they could possibly have. But here he is still fighting to keep him into the playoffs. So they're going to dump this guy, even if they get him to the playoffs. I don't think that's going to happen with Atlanta. But that being said, in today's game, I think this is an interesting game because on the other side, who you got? You got Tyler Heineke. Oh, wait, hold on. Gardner Minshew on the other side. So you got two of these guys that are about the same. This is an interesting game. What are you looking at? What I kind of gave you a little bit of what I was thinking and where I was going. What's your take up on this one?
Okay, what now?
Yeah, something like that. What's your take up on the Colts today? As they are taking the Atlanta Falcons in Atlanta.
Look, you just spent 30 minutes going on rambling about this and that and this and that.
Yes, that's what I do.
Yes, it's what you do, and believe me, it's getting really tiresome. I feel like it's 2013 again. Anyway,
something like that.
Anyway, look, the Colts are a better football team. Okay, bottom line, they're a better football team. Falcons have had their shares of hits and misses this year, more misses than hits.
Yes.
And unfortunately, because you're the leader of that team, you're the quarterback, the blame does fall on you to an extent. Now, it's not your fault defense gives up that many points. It's not your fault for that. But you have to be responsible for moving the ball down the field. That's where he struggles.
Yes.
So, that being said, name of the show, all this stuff we always say.
Nice plug. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. By the way, tune in to Offshoots TV every Thursday, except for last Thursday.
Definitely.
By the way, I'll be doing a movie review show. First show I'm gonna do is gonna be on the Iron Claw. Be watching it this week. Definitely, I like the Colts better because they seem to know who they are more than the Falcons do. And now they are playing Atlanta. Always a dangerous city to play in because Atlanta fans are rabid. Having lived in Atlanta for 6 months and gotten the hell out of there 6 months later, I know how rabid they are. They're not Eagle fans, but they want to be. But but is what it is. But the Colts, you know what? The Colts have been playing better football this year with Minshew. Without them, just they're a better team. So give me the Falcons.
I don't know if they're the better team or not because
then look at your win-loss record.
I don't know. No, I get it. I'm not blind to the fact that one team has won more games this season. I completely get it. All right, but the fact that it's the Indianapolis Colts, and I'm going to tell you what this is, and because it's a division thing, okay, and it happens almost every single year as far as the Colts are concerned, regardless who's playing or what's going on. The Colts have a habit of shooting themselves in the foot on a game, and this goes beyond the game. Today, it goes into who the Jaguars are playing later on. Okay, so you have a situation where both of these teams, the Jaguars and the Colts, know how to shoot themselves in the foot. Okay, in an important game that is up there for their season, you got the same thing. As much if you want to say the Indianapolis Colts are a better football team today than the Atlanta Falcons, I'll probably agree with you. But when it comes to situational things that are happening on the football field, whether it's playing for a playoff spot, in other words, these two teams don't know how to show up for the big game. And this is the possibly bigger game for Indianapolis than it is for the Atlanta Falcons, because the Atlanta Falcons could lose this game and still be in the running for the playoffs in that bad division. Mm-hmm. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to go this one here. I think I agree with you who's the better football team is, but situationally, I don't think the Indianapolis Colts are going to get it done on the road. If they were home, I would be on them. The Falcons, in this type of game, whenever I pick the Falcons, they lose, or pick against them, they lose. So I'm going to go with the Atlanta Falcons today at home, and with them trying to make a charge for the playoffs. Now, granted, Indianapolis needs this game really bad. I think there's nothing to lose in Atlanta, probably, in reality. So that's where I'm going to go. I don't even know who's going to start at the quarterback, because they've been talking about pulling Desmond Ridder out, so there's been lots of talk. I'm just going to go Atlanta. I think the Colts don't know how to play for prime time or for playoff spots, which in this case, that's where I'm going to go. Cuervo, if you're looking, I'd love to know who you're picking in this one. And if you got your ear shot out, it is family time. That's, it's, people are spending a lot of time as far as the misfits and stuff with their family. It's like, if you can't find 3 hours to treat yourself to your Christmas gift, that's what I put with this show, then you got to get more dedicated. I mean, you and me, Podfather, right there, 3 hours.
Listen, it helps that my family hates me, so that's why I'm here.
Well, so, I mean, I think even though they may quote unquote hate, they got some love for the Podfather. Now.
They hate the Podfather. You know what? Fine, the Podfather's not very fond of them either.
Hey, sometimes you gotta, and sometimes you gotta let them know. I've done that myself, so look, it is what it is.
Let's see here. So, they say today Taylor Heineke is starting for today's Atlanta game.
Oh, so and listen, that's all that Gardner Minshew and Tyler Heineke. Oh my God, these are the epitome of mediocre quarterbacks I've ever heard of, and a matchup like it. Oh my gosh, this game could go either way. I'll probably lose it, but Heineke, Gardner Minshew, Heineke, Gardner. I'm gonna go Heineke. I'm gonna stay on Atlanta.
Okay.
This is
you know what? You know what? I saw Heineke play with the Washington. He was decent. Okay. His problem was the team wasn't. So
right.
I mean,
I agree.
That's just how once again, you can be RG3 was a good quarterback. Wasn't a great quarterback because when the league figured him out, boom, down he goes. But
I'm glad you admitted that, because Joe was getting ready to fire up what RG3 being. I appreciate that.
I mean,
what?
Look, I hate when you do that. But anyway, look. The thing is, though, is that RG3 did something that no other quarterback for that team had done in a while. That's to make him a contender. Okay. Now that lasted a year. Thank God it didn't last anything longer than that, because that was driving me crazy. Because my next door neighbor, my next door neighbor at the time, he came from Baylor, and he was a huge RG3 fan, right?
Yeah.
When he got drafted to the, at that time, Washington Redskins, he looked at me. He's like, "I'm a Cowboys fan. He can't do this."
Exactly.
I was like, look, you go where the money's at, and you go who drafts. He's like, but still, it's the Redskins. I'm like, I know it's the Redskins, but
yes,
it's what it is. Look, I feel bad for both quarterbacks. Okay, both quarterbacks would probably excel better in different systems.
Absolutely, I 100% agree with you.
But you got to play the cards that are dealt.
Yep.
You could sandbag it like McCaffrey did and hope to. But once again, Chris McCaffrey, Gardner Minshew. Yeah, I mean,
Tyler Heineke.
These things is not like the other one. These things doesn't. So
you're telling me there's a chance.
I really do when you do that shit. It just lags.
Yeah.
Stop it.
So, but the thing about that is that Tyler Heineke and Gardner Minshew, it's this right here in real.
Going to amount to jack squat.
Stop.
The Podfather.
Stop.
Jack squat.
So anyway, it is what it is. So anyway, yeah, Podfather's over.
This is total BS.
Anyway, that being said, of course, that's the name of the show. Catch us every Sunday. Normally, I have to admit,
I will kill you.
No, normally we have a break. I'll miss a show if I'm sick or if I'm doing something. This way, I was doing something, but we are here and we're all every week this year, and no sign of slowing down. Going all 18 weeks without a skip of the show. I think that's wonderful.
I missed a few shows only because of travel issues and family stuff.
Right.
But
well, more in the fact that if I'll get sick and if I don't feel good, I won't do the show because I will still do the show if I'm just tired, because this show gets the blood pumping. It's great. So so this year I haven't been sick at all or doing something where I missed the show. So, and I don't plan on it for the next 3 weeks. So we're all set and ready to roll. That being said,
way to jinx yourself. Way to go there, sir.
I know it probably. I'll probably be sick as a dog next week.
COVID get you now.
Anyway,
by the way, if I had COVID and my only way of communicating with the people on the outside world was through this, I'm still doing the damn show. Because when I had COVID a couple of years ago, and I'm sitting here going, God, buddies, guys, you want to do Offshoot TV on a Monday? How about a Tuesday?
Yep.
How about a Wednesday?
Yes.
How about a weekly thing? So yeah, it was and once again, when you're sick, you can't talk to anybody. You can either ball up like a ball and do nothing, or just come here and get warm and do your thing. So that's why I enjoy doing this stuff.
Well, we found StreamYard 4 months before COVID hit.
Yeah.
So and I think you came a couple of months after I did.
came shortly after, yeah.
Yeah, a couple of months after I did. So we're this stream. By the way, and if it wasn't for Cuervo, we'd still be on Blog Talk Radio doing this. I mean, just because of laziness. It's just more.
You're not wrong.
Yeah, Cuervo is the one that got us here. I was more in the fact that I don't want to look at myself for 3 hours doing this show, for God's sake, but it is what it is. But this week, by the way, today's games, by the way, of course, I know we're getting towards the end, and I know it's easy to say this, but these games this week have...
Playoffs? Don't talk about it. Playoffs? You kidding me? Playoffs? I just hope
I'm just telling you right now, playoffs games and what could end up happening if you lose, the implications of losing today or winning today. is so huge this week. Now, granted, it'll be next week too, but it's starting this week. And we just talked about Atlanta and the Indianapolis Colts. Playoff implications in that game are huge. Now, the next game that we're going to talk about is a 10-4 Detroit Lions football team going up against the Minnesota Vikings, who are still in playoff contention, that being Minnesota. So a big-time game for both of these. Now, granted, who's it more important for? Of course, it's Minnesota. I mean, no one's going to sit there and argue the point. That having been said, Detroit, I think this is almost a must-win for them. And the main reason next week, who do they got? Who do they got next week, Trey?
Dallas Cowboys.
And
they're playing in Minnesota. And they're playing in Minnesota too.
And they're playing in Minnesota. This is almost a must-win for them, and it has nothing to do with the division. Has nothing to do with nothing. They just wanted exactly, and not only that, they're the only ones. Realistically, in reality, when you're looking at the division of the NFC, that have a shot at getting the 49ers. The 49ers 11-3. The Lions are 10-4. Okay, those are the only two teams that are sitting up on top outside of the Dallas Cowboys and Eagles. One of these teams are not going to make it of these four. The Lions would love to get a bye. I don't know if they're going to get it. Interestingly enough, I just don't, because San Francisco's just that good. And not only that, I'll just throw this to the side. Either Dallas, if Dallas wins these end of these games, they're going to go and they're going to end up with that bye. Because I just have a sneaking suspicion the 49ers will just drop a game because of injuries. They don't want to lose a guy, and I think they'll come back.
First of all, the Niners got the Commanders and the Rams. That's their last two games,
right?
So they're not going to lose to the Commanders, and they're not going to lose to the Rams either.
Well, hold on. I beg to differ with you. That Ram game is going to be really good, especially. I don't know if you watched that Ram game on Thursday night.
Depends where the Rams are, though.
Yeah, that they played really well. The Rams are a sneaky team coming into this playoffs, and just more in the fact on how they've been winning games as of late. That out of all those teams, whether it's Philly, the Dallas Cowboys, I think the only team right now, they're the hottest right now, are the Rams. They're playing good football. I think they're about the only team that can beat the 49ers. I don't think Dallas and the Philadelphia Eagles can do it. So
I'm going to double check your math on that. See, last week they barely squeaked by against the Saints.
Uh-huh.
Then the week before
they won. They just won Thursday. That was Thursday.
Okay. Okay. Honestly.
But listen, did you watch that game? The score's not indicative of what that game was about.
Well, maybe not, but you know what though? If they're going to be a dominant team that has really turned the Jets on, scores have been a little bit higher than that.
Oh yeah, but those were garbage points by the Saints. The last 14 points of that game, it was. If you watched the damn game, you would have seen that.
Well, I don't have time to watch the Saints Rams game. Okay, okay, they beat the Browns, so yeah, it's in LA, so yeah, there's that.
Yeah. They're sneaky, man. I'm telling you right now, the Rams are sneaky. They are the dark horse. No, that's not the dark horse. What is it? What is that? They're just
quiet. They beat Arizona.
Yeah.
Sonny, I can feel your blood. I can feel your blood pressure from here. Okay, and trust me.
You can usually see it in my face, so I start getting a little red.
Yeah, right. I mean, if we didn't take down that damn green screen, you'd be in trouble. Okay, the Seahawks beat them. No. I'm sorry. No, they beat the Seahawks by 1.
They're like on a 5-game winning streak right now.
Yeah, they're doing well, which also means they're bound to screw up once because.
Well, now I won't argue that point, but I'm just saying, out of the 4 teams, the way they're playing right now, it's and balls to the wall is one of my favorite sayings because this is a team that, depending on how Matthew Stafford's playing, if he's not throwing the interceptions every week, you got to look out for him. I'm telling you right now, the Rams right now are the dark horse in this conference to maybe give a run to the 49ers, because I don't think the Cowboys or Eagles can beat the 49ers right now. I just don't think they can.
Well, they've lost them already by huge margins. Last team to beat the Rams was Green Bay. That was back around week number 9. So,
yeah.
For them.
Quietly, too, right? No one's really talking about the Rams in reality.
Nobody likes the Rams.
Well, you got to remember they won the Super Bowl not more than 2 years ago, so you can't forget about that as well. Now, you want to talk about giving up a franchise? I mean, good God, they gave away all their draft picks to get that Super Bowl, and hey, say whatever you want, it worked. But now, after last year, it was so bad. Yeah, the dark. See, right now, I think the Rams can beat the Lions right now, and that's where. So we got the Lions, Eagles, Cowboys, 49ers, and the Rams are the dark horse of those 5 teams, and it's going to be really interesting to see how that plays out. That being said, of course, that's the name of this show, the Lions taking on Minnesota, who are desperate, and I don't know what their situation is in reality as far as the team rallying around certain guys. They don't have their quarterback. Say whatever you want. They got their guy from Arizona, and now he's not doing it. He's not playing well. So Minnesota is in one of those tricky spots where who's going to play? And out of who's going to play, how are they going to be able to put it together to get a win against this team? Say whatever you want. The Lions have just, I saw it 2 years ago. Everybody was laughing at me. I said, 2 years, you're going to have to worry about these Lions. 2 years ago, everybody was laughing at me. So I do get the last laugh in reality when it comes to what the Lions are about. So now, the Lions are in the same boat as the Cowboys and Eagles. Who did you play to get there? They've won some quality games this year. And I think they're just a little bit different than those other ones. Go ahead.
Okay. First of all, if the Lions lose this game, they lose the Cowboys. Bottom line. Because this is a confidence builder for them to beat the Cowboys.
Yes.
To go into Cowboy Stadium and beat the Cowboys, they have to win today. If they don't win, you can forget about next week. Next week will be make or break for the Lions, and they'll break only because of the home.
You've been predicting this for weeks.
Yeah. Have the Lions already kind of peaked a little bit? I said they did, and they won big time last week, so I was wrong about that. Mm-hmm. But they went on a 3-game losing streak. One thing I did say that the Eagles and the Lions and even the 49ers have all had a 3-game losing streak this year, and whereas Dallas has not. Not that matters, but I'm just saying it's something to look at. Okay. When that momentum swings one way, it seems to swing that way for a long period of time. They got it back last week. Can they keep it against the Vikings? They better. They're going to Minnesota. Minnesota is not a very healthy environment for the Detroit Lions of all teams to go into, being a front runner in that division and hopes to win. I don't know if the quarterback for the Vikings, I don't know if the coach of the Vikings knows how to handle a game of this magnitude right now. I don't know.
That's a good point.
But if they play their cards right and stay close with it, they should win. However, I'm gonna go Detroit because I think this game means a hell of a lot more for Detroit going into next week. And I think that's how Dan Campbell's gonna look at this thing. Like, guys, we have to have this, so we get to go do that. And I think that's what's going to really be the big key factor for the Detroit Lions for next week. Once again, they're not playing for this week, but they know they have to win this week to go into next week.
Think about this. Go ahead.
No, I mean, if they lose, let's say the Lions lose today and they lose to the Cowboys, but they win the last game of the season. That's what, 10-7 or 11-6.
Mm-hmm.
So then you got Dallas, who will probably lose today. If they win the next two after that, they finish 12-5.
Right.
Eagles should destroy their division. Should get to the point to where they're probably 13-4. Then that's how it all shakes out. How we all kind of thought it would be.
Right.
But then they still win. They still win their divisions. They still get the home. I guess they get the home field for at least the first game.
Yeah.
But they have to win today. That's why I think the Lions are going to win.
Here, just in case that people don't understand what's going on in Minnesota, Nick Mullins is starting today.
Ugh.
Okay, that's bad enough. I mean, listen, and they got the rookie quarterback, Jaron Hall. I think he was a 3rd or 4th rounder, so he's not ready because he's a rookie 4th rounder. Forget about rookie 1st round draft picks not playing well. 4th round, good God. And then you got Josh Dobbs, who is tumbled from being the starter and the savior of this team down to the number 3. He's behind Hall right now, if you believe in the depth chart on what's going on. So that being said,
I don't think they
just
believe in the depth chart.
Huh?
I don't think Minnesota believes in their own depth chart.
Well,
I mean, trust me, the loss of their quarterback.
Losing.
That killed them. That killed them.
Yeah, losing Kirk Cousins. And listen, we know how to bash Kirk Cousins. We might be experts at it, but I've always respected what that guy can do. And the fact that not having Kirk Cousins in this game really, really hurts them in reality. I don't even know how they win this football team. Jared Goff is going to go off on this defense. As good as the defense is, they'll be out on the field too long, and then they'll wear them down, and they'll get them in the 3rd and 4th quarter. If this is any kind of game in the first 2, they'll just wear them down. Because of the fact that Nick Mullins sucks. Okay, is the only reason why I'm picking it. If that was Kirk Cousins in the lineup, I would pick the Lions today or the Vikings today. Just more in the fact that when the Lions need something, they never win. I mean, they never win. And with Kirk Cousins in the lineup, I don't think the Lions could win this game today. But with Nick Mullins being the quarterback, I think that it's an easy pick in reality. And yes, that's a simple way of looking at it because we usually go in depth on it. But when it's Nick Mullins, and as bad as this guy's career's been, listen, it's been that way for a reason, and it's going to remain that way for a reason. And that's what's going to end up happening. I think Lions win. I think they probably win big in reality. Just more in the fact that lack of scoring that will be coming from the Vikings. But playoff implications on it, definitely for Minnesota. So they have got to get in there and get going. Now, game that don't matter, and but fun to talk about. The Washington Commanders, 4-10, go up against the Jets at 5-9. I don't have a lot necessarily to say about this game, but taking a look at it, this could be a great game, a fun game to watch. I mean, if you're that kind of guy that likes competitiveness, this game is going to get competitive, I think, today. Because they're both so bad that so that makes it hard to pick. So there's 2 things that I'm looking at if and when I'm going to take a pick is who's the personnel out on the football field and who's coaching. So, and both of them, when you're looking at both of the teams, you got to ask God, is the coaching staff better in Washington than it is for the Jets? Is the personnel what's better? I hate this game. That couch potato quarter is actually packed up, so I can't even flip it. So I'm going to listen to what one Trey Mack has to say about Washington and the Jets. What do you got? What do you think?
Okay, I put a lot of thought in this game. For those who picked up my cue, they know that I've not thought about this one bit. All right. Folks, 14-14. Book it.
Something like that. Yeah.
You know what? I'm gonna say the first team to 100 is gonna win, but because look, they're playing in New York. Don't know if that matters because it's New York. Before you cut me off, because you do this a lot when we get people. You always cut me off when I'm talking. The hell with you.
Well, that's because you're usually on a long. You're on a long diatribe.
Okay, you don't shut up. All right. I wish I had access to the backstage.
Something like that.
Golly.
Well, you're usually first in the backstage. You're usually here before me.
I know. I can actually cue people up in the backstage. So I sit there and just say, "Wait, hold on, I ain't done talking yet." No, but no. Look. Here's the thing. Both teams suck. We know this. It's in New York. It's not going to be the best game. I mean, let's face it. They're probably going to get two of the worst announcers calling this game on Fox or CBS or whoever's going to call this thing. So I'm going to go Jets because they got home field. Not that matters.
Jets.
Jets, mess. Yes. But, maybe Aaron Rodgers makes an appearance on TV. Not on the field or nothing, but on TV.
Yeah.
But, no.
Is he their version of Taylor Swift or something?
I think.
Yeah. That being said, hey, by the way,
I saw a picture of Travis Kelce, and they had a hickey on the side of his neck, and it says, "Look, she's already draining the life out of that team."
I said, "Yep, I saw that." And by the way, I saw the eye roll. Even folks that don't understand ours, we see who's in the green room, and I saw the eye roll from this guy. Which, by the way, just to let you know, the eye roll from this guy, that means something was said, either funny or what, but here it is. Over the top for the Podfather, the best smile on the internet is Bryce from Brooklyn. What's up, my brother?
Boy, how happy are you from yesterday?
Happier than I.
You know what? Before you talk, I don't think he's that way at all. I think he's pissed off, and I'm going to tell you the reason why. Because if this football team would have been playing like that for the last 5 weeks, we wouldn't be talking about, well, are they going to make the playoffs? Or are they not? Because they're probably not. If they would have won maybe 1 or 2 of those games in that slide, like they played yesterday, or was it yesterday? Yeah, yesterday. We would be sitting here talking about, are the Steelers the dark horse within the division of the AFC in reality? Because they played good football yesterday, by the way. But then again, they should have beat that football team, but no one was on. Everybody was dogging on the Pittsburgh Steelers, including the resident Steeler fan. I mean, in reality, right, Bryce?
This is true. I don't know if we could say they should have beat the Bengals. I mean, Bengals were playing better football. The Bengals looked a lot better. But hey, I give credit to Pittsburgh. Hey, listen, full disclosure, I don't run and hide. Obviously, in the pick 'em, I picked against my Steelers.
Yeah, blame you.
I think they'd have enough. With the way things were going, I didn't think they'd be able to still generate enough offense. And credit to them. This was the best game they've played all year.
I think all of us but one of us picked the Bengals yesterday. I know
Roadrunner. Roadrunner grabbed them up.
Yeah, I mean, look, I try to look at the games as unbiased as I can, and I thought it would be a close game. I just didn't think it would be a blowout this way. I mean, Pittsburgh really from the opening tip. I mean, when Pickens
the wood on him big time.
I don't think Zach Taylor coached a very good game yesterday. It's almost like Mike Tomlin has this superpower in the division, which Pittsburgh is 4-1 in the division. He has this superpower to get these other division coaches to play the game the way he wants to play it. And I just couldn't believe that the Bengals kept running out single high defenses and giving Mason Rudolph easy reads and putting one-on-one with George Pickens. I mean, he was just killing them. I mean, they couldn't. You don't put that guy.
They needed to do that, though, right? I mean, they've been ignoring Pickens for the last, 4 weeks? They ain't even got him the ball.
Yeah, but I think what happens is this offense, again, a college offense, doesn't do well when you throw multiple zone looks at it, sim pressures, and they made the game easier. And they just, if you look at a lot of those plays, it's Pickens making one-on-one, making plays down the field and beating guys off the line of scrimmage because they're trying to press him in man-to-man coverage. So I thought the play calling by the Bengals on fourth down was abysmal. It looked like Matt Canada was calling the plays. They played right into our hands. And if you do that, and Mason was having a good game, Pittsburgh can stay in the game and possibly get going, and they did. And once it got going downhill, I mean, Jake Browning just imploded. That was a total implosion. So I give credit to Pittsburgh for being ready, coming out and getting the win.
I think Pittsburgh had to get the ball to Pickens, and the reason being is because his mouth got him in a lot of trouble this past week.
Well, I think, I think his effort, that was bad effort. There's no sugar.
Yeah.
And then he should have just came out and said, frustrated, bad play.
Yep.
I've talked to my teammates. I'm sorry, and I'm moving on, and I'm going to play better. That's all he needed to say.
And he just went. He had the Sonny effect. He was saying what he was thinking. I have a habit of doing that. Sometimes I got to shut my mouth. I got to do it. I got to do it 40 hours a week at my work, but I don't do it here. But it's just more the fact sometimes you got to know when to bite your tongue or say the political correct answer that everybody wants to hear. And he didn't. He kind of dug a little hole. They had to get him the ball this week. So
hold on, Sonny.
Look. No, I walked into the break room at work yesterday. They had the game on TV. It was like 21-0. I'm sitting there going, "Oh God, Bryce either ecstatic as hell or he's pissed that he's wrong about his pick." I can't tell which one it is. But then I realized you picked the Steelers. I'm like, "Oh, in that case, that makes sense." But for Cincinnati to not get off the ball the way they should have been doing, and maybe Jake Browning came down to earth. I mean, it all happens to every quarterback out there.
Yep.
And Pickens, fantastic game that guy had, considering the fact that he was talked about all last week and being thrown out there by the media about being a kind of player he is.
Look, sacrificial lamb in reality too.
Look. Go ahead, Podfather. I know you done.
I mean, the thing is, I hate all this talk that Tomlin's leaving, okay, or that they're going to let him go. That's not how the Steelers operate, okay? The Steelers don't operate that way. It's not always the head coach's fault why the rest of the team can't. Bye, Sonny. So, it's a better show. This should be you and me the entire time. That's how we should do this show from now on. It's a lot quieter too. But I hate the Mike Tomlin argument of he's been here too long. Well, if you're a success, you're going to have your hits and you're going to have your misses. That's just life, okay?
Yeah.
I mean, Bill Belichick bought enough time past the Brady era to say, okay, now I can go. All right? So Tomlin's earned that, okay? And he did that with Ben Roethlisberger, who, great quarterback, suspect human being, but either way, the guy won on the field. Didn't win all the time, but he won on the field when it mattered most of the times. Okay? He's trying to find the next guy. And trying to find this guy is not – look at the Cowboys. Went from Aikman to Quincy Carter. It's a hell of a drop-off. Yeah. Okay? No. I mean, you go from Quincy Carter to Drew Henson, then to Chad Hutchinson, and then to Vinny Testaverde. I mean, it took you a while to get to Romo. Even Drew Bledsoe was kind of in that mix. Okay, it took you a while to get to Romo. And when you got to Romo, you may have found the right guy, but you got to put the right team around him. Yeah. And have the right team. I mean, the entire time Romo was quarterback, he never had a solid running back. Because every time DeMarco Murray got ready to start the season, he got hurt. Every time Felix Jones would get in there, he get hurt. So he never had the right – and I'm sorry, when you had the Arkansas connection, that don't win you championships. I'm sorry. But, so – He plays out his career to where we're at now with our current quarterback, Dak Prescott, and now you're building the team around him, and you're trying to make it gel, and you're trying to make it work. You're gonna have your hits and misses, like Buffalo was a miss. I think Miami's gonna be a miss today also. So, but you don't put all that on McCarthy. You don't put that on. I mean, you put it on the ownership, you put it on the general manager, who happens to be the same person. So for the Steelers to be where they're at now, I think you have to put that on the front office, not getting the right players for the right time for the right coach. And I think that's where I back off of the Mike Tomlin firing thing because it's not his fault. At the same time, he has to coach out of that. And if he can't coach out of that, that's where other people out there who will sit there and just point fingers will sit there and go, well, it's his fault. You know, so, I mean, again, I'm not a Steeler fan, not a huge Steeler fan because they've owned the Cowboys 2 out of 3 times in the Super Bowl. But, you know, I mean, I'll call a spade, and I'll say it like it really is. I mean, you know, they are, you know, they can be a powerhouse in the AFC when they're ready to be, but they're not ready to be right now. Back to you, Sonny. Come on. I've said enough.
No. Look, Podfather, you make good points. I mean, the part that I lean a little bit more into is the Tomlin part, only because, you know, it's always been a balance of power when it comes to picking the players. You know, Tomlin doesn't have the full authority to pick the players, but there's always been power with the GM and a team effort to pick these players. A lot of these guys, they're going to lean on Mike Tomlin if he says, yeah, this is a guy we want. So he's got to share in this. I also think he's got to share in the fact that, look, these coordinators, some of these coaches have not really been, I think, the type of coaching that you need to really get the most out of these players. I think there's been a little bit too much in these later rounds. I think there's been a little bit too much drafting height, weight, speed guys. But height, weight, speed guys that at the end of the day, you know, they're not sure what position they play. They want to change them around. And I think that's kind of hurt some of the later round drafts. Look at Kevin Dotson. You know, they drafted him in 2020. Now that guy, you know, they wouldn't anchor him in at right guard. I was saying to people, anchor him in at right guard. He's not a left guard. Well, you know, in the NFL doesn't matter. Left, right, you got to be able to play both. But now they anchor him in at right guard, and he's having a Pro Bowl year for the Rams. You know, that's a miss. So things like that, I think Tomlin's got to own.
That's just falling to coaching. Yeah, that's just falling to coaching. Yeah,
absolutely. And these losses, the last 3 losses in a row, you know, look, I've never been on the fire Tomlin train, Podfather. Sonny will attest to that. I think Tomlin's a great coach. I've supported him. I get on him when I think something ain't right. But I'm not one of these Yinzer fans from Pittsburgh, like fire Tomlin the moment something bad happens. But look, these last 3 games outside of this game, these losses have been, and I said this, fireable offenses. Coaches have been fired for less. Do I think he should be fired? No. Do I think they will fire him? No. Do I think he'll leave? No. I think he gets an extension. But there has to be some change in the way that they go about hiring assistant coaches, paying them a little more, maybe getting a couple more on that staff to help these schemes come into 2023. And
question
has to happen.
Question about those assistant coaches. How much is ownership going to have in those decisions, or is that be all on Tomlin? And the reason why I think it's going to be all on Tomlin is because if it goes to off the rails next year, there's a good reason to not renew his contract. I don't even think he gets the extension until midway through the season, depending on what they're doing. And I think that's where that is going to fall. And if it does, if it falls up on Mike Tomlin to get the assistants, then it just makes it easier not to renew the contract. Now, if they have a say in it, I think they extend Tomlin in that part, because then it'll be easy to say, "Hey, I didn't hire these goofballs." So I think that's where a lot of it's going to happen.
I would love to hear a press
conference. I almost said some nasty thing right there. I
heard motherfuckers was talking about me. I didn't do these people.
First of all,
trying to keep it PG-13 as best we can.
We're not doing that.
Sonny, the Pittsburgh Steelers would never in season wait till in season to extend Mike Tomlin. He's going to get an extension before the season. I think they want to see how these last look. We're talking about this. If the Pittsburgh Steelers,
how much money is that, by the way? How much money is that?
I don't know. Probably between 8 and 9 million a year, or something like that.
So you give them the extension, and by the way, just for folks, the coaches' contracts are much different than players. They are guaranteed. So you're going to throw $8 million at Mike Tomlin, and then at the end of the year fire him, and then basically eat $8 million. Now, granted, in the grand scheme of things, $8 million doesn't mean a lot. But the Steelers, in reality, they don't have a habit of just pissing away money that way. They just don't do it. That's the reason why they're the storied franchise and the ones that have won more Super Bowl than one Dallas Cowboys football team. I threw that in there for you there, Bryce, just to give a little stab to someone.
They're not. So if they extend him, then they're all in. Then they're all in with Coach Tomlin. But there needs to be adjustments. There needs to be adjustments to the staff. There needs to be a new offensive philosophy. You got to throw that playbook away. I wouldn't be mad if they decided to move on from Terrell Austin, the defensive coordinator, and Tomlin maybe take the reins off of the defense, bring in a high level coordinator, and let these guys kind of go. Look, the Steelers. There's talent on this team. There is talent on this team. They have been straddled, and I don't. That's what I wanted to say. I don't want to hear anything about George Pickens being PC with the media, because you know what he could have did? Just own the fact that on those couple plays you had terrible effort.
Yes,
terrible, and just own it. Yep, those were bad plays by me. That doesn't represent who I am fully. I'm gonna play hard. I talked to Jalen. I'm sorry for the way it went down, and I'm moving forward. That's it, because you need to own what you did. You know, he's showing immaturity. I get it. He's not the main problem of the team. The main problem of the team is that I think they are up until Sunday, they are exasperated with this offensive system. They're ready to get out of it, and I think they don't believe in it. They need to see success in order to be engaged, because the offense has been that bad. So if they can do that these last couple games, you know, look, we're talking about Tomlin. There's a good chance Mike Tomlin could win out.
Absolutely.
And then you're 10-7, and absolutely he's getting an extension. Like, that's going to happen. So we'll see. But so far, I mean, look, good game. I hope they can replicate it. We'll see.
Absolutely. And wouldn't it be great? It would be the classic don't give up on a guy before it's too late. You know, you just don't do this right now. Remember who we are. We're the Pittsburgh Steelers. This is what we do. And we just don't give up on our guys. And I think that there could be something to be said about that idea as far as what a team is going to do as far as their future is concerned. And listen, when you're the Steelers, you don't hibernate for a couple of years before you're going to be good. Okay? You're good. It's simple as that. That's what this franchise is. And if they get away from that at any point, Bryce, that's when they lose the franchise. And that's why I like the Steelers, because they're going to do anything and everything to try to win and not give up and say, oh, we'll take a couple of years off, or we'll see you in a couple of years. The Steelers are never, and that's the reason why the Steelers are who they are.
Yeah, I mean, and as they should. Like, look, Mike Tomlin's, there has to be a come to Jesus conversation with what's going to change with this team. Having said that, I think Tomlin is the guy that can do it. They were in a similar situation with Cowher, you know, where it was him or Donahoe, and they stuck with Cowher, and then, you know, they were able to get the quarterback, and they were rewarded. The one thing I don't buy into is that he's lost the locker room or anything. No.
I don't either.
Not lost that locker room at all.
Nope.
Those guys will run through a wall for him.
They wouldn't have won like they did yesterday if that had happened.
He's got to get some of these guys to grow up, and he's got to adjust the X's and O's of the system and bring the system up to speed. Get a new coordinator in there that can get these guys to buy in, call better plays, come up with a better system. That's what they have to do.
Yes. Fully agree. And I think it happens, actually. I say whatever you want about the Steelers. They just do. They don't give up. And then we're talking like in this situation where they are as far as their season is concerned, we're still talking about it. They can still make the playoffs right now. And that's the difference between them and most other football teams that are going head to head. this week with an opportunity to make the playoffs. Go ahead, Trey. You look like you had something to say, but maybe it was just the yawn.
You ready?
Yeah, I was asking you. I was being considerate. I mean, come on now.
I appreciate that. It was just a yawn.
Oh, Lord have mercy. I'm going to tell you right now. I love this show. This show makes everything, makes my week, by the way. So it's just one of those things. So now that being said,
I'm glad we can do this for you, sir. Because
you're not doing this for us. My therapy. That's right. This is my therapy. You are my therapist. Bryce from Brooklyn and Podfather. Now thinking Podfather is my therapist. I'm in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, poor Cuervo. You just kind of shit on him now.
Well, no, Cuervo is with me. He's me. So he doesn't need. He's got his own therapist. He's got yeah. By the way, did you see that Cadillac he bought his wife for Christmas?
I saw that big time ball.
What is it? But by the way, he drives a pearl white Cadillac. That being Cuervo, which is pretty if you haven't seen it. Oh, white is one thing. Pearl white, oh man, is even better. But the one she has, that is nice. Anthony Price, good to see you. And yes, you stay with me. Yeah, absolutely, you stay with Mason. Listen. He earned at least the next game, right? Bryce from Brooklyn. He at least earned the starting lineup for next week. Or did he?
Here's the issue with that. Look, you got a good game. Mason is Mason, though. Like, I'm not going to go crazy because he played a good game. It was definitely his best game as a Steeler.
Yes.
You're committed to Kenny, and he's your guy. I suspect they will go to Kenny in Seattle.
Really?
I suspect they'll go back to him, but I think the hook could be a little shorter, because he's coming off of injury. But we got to see how he practices, and if he practices is ready to go, Kenny is just. I think they're going to go with Kenny. I would be surprised if they stuck with Mason.
Wow. Interesting. I don't know. We know who Kenny is right now. All right. Before the injury, you knew who Kenny was. Okay. Which wasn't all that good. Depending upon obviously good game for Rudolph. Congratulations, by the way. He needed that. Because if he's not going to be a Steeler next year, he needed to get some tape so people could see what he can do. Wonderful. And so that's good. However, next week, is it next week they're expecting Pickett's back?
Yes, for Seattle.
I don't think it's Seattle. And who's the last game for them?
The Ravens.
I'm sorry. I'm going to tell you what I would do. I'm putting it. I put in Rudolph, and if he can go out there and have a good showing, that's the guy I want to go against the Ravens, because again, we already know who Pickett is, and if there's any kind of playoff inkling going on, I don't think you want Kenny Pickett in there. Not 100%. If he's not 100%, you don't put in Kenny Pickett right now. I think that would be a disaster in reality, because they're going to be exposed. And they're going to go right after the injury anyway. Say whatever you want. There's still a marketable idea that there are bounties out in the NFL, and they'll go after them. That's what I would do. But good to talk. Oh, good to talk Steeler football. But now, since I got Bryce from Brooklyn, let's figure this game out here. As far as the game that we're talking about, we were talking Washington.
Hold on. Have we talked about the two big games? We know Ravens. No, I'm talking Cowboys, Dolphins, and Jaguars and Buccaneers.
We talked the Cowboys. So, but just really quick, you're going Jets, right? For Jets in Washington, right there, Podfather, if I heard correctly.
Right.
Jets and a bad game in reality, but Jets and Washington, they are in New York. Real quick, Bryce, what's your look on that one?
You know what? I'm going with the Commanders. I think the Commanders do enough to win the game. I don't believe in the Jets offense. It's non-existent. The quarterback play has just been abysmal.
Yes.
And I mean,
Yeah,
you know what? You know what should
I
have
didn't
happened?
factor that in.
You know what should have happened? They should have went back to the Jets. Should have went back to sign Flacco,
I think you're right.
and they should have. You know, they had the right idea as a backup quarterback. You bring in Flacco. I think you have him. You're probably for a playoff spot, you know, but there's just not enough going on. And no,
I agree.
I don't trust their offense. I think Washington just does just enough.
Don't change your pick, Podfather. This one I might be against you. I need the point. I got to do the Hulk Hogan thing. Don't change your pick. You stay right there on the.
You and me. You would do the Hulk Hogan. Brother, I changed my pick, brother. Okay. No.
So,
hey, look. They could be in New York. It can be a shit game, but at the end of the day, the Jets have no quarterback, and I mean they're not comfortable with that with Zach Wilson. They ain't comfortable with his backup, and they're not going to get the main starter off the bench because he ain't coming out this year. So, yeah, give me the Commanders.
Yeah, switch. And I actually thought this was going to be when we were on the same on that. But when you said Jets, I was like,
switch it back though.
Yes,
I could always change it back before 12. I mean, I got
this is true. Left. Yep, last minute changes. You can do that. Now, let's go to the game. We've already talked about it, but I know Bryce wants to pick on Sonny today. So we're going to go to the Jaguar game today. All right. The Jacksonville Jaguars have Tampa.
Hold on. So before we go there, because all three of us will get into that real quick. Bryce, who you got, Dallas or Miami?
Oh, okay. I was going to circle back, but we'll do it. Hey, he's the host of the show today. Go ahead, Bryce. What do you think? You know, the Cowboys or Dolphins?
Wow, this is a tough one.
This one is tough.
You know, the Dolphins are explosive.
Yes.
They're getting Tyreek Hill back today, too.
They get Tyreek Hill back today, which I didn't realize that. I thought he was out. They get Tyreek Hill back today. As much as as much as I love the Podfather,
I'm picking Miami, by the way. So.
No. It's as much as I hate his team, but I got a lot of love for the Podfather. But I'm actually going to go with the Dallas Cowboys today.
Wow.
I think the Miami Dolphins I'm going to give the defensive edge slightly to Dallas. I think the Miami Dolphins, to me, I don't think it's a tough defense. I think their defense can be ran on. I think the Cowboys get to the run game, which they haven't been great at, but Miami's a team you can run on.
Yes.
And I think that gets that comfortable, and they do just enough on defense to hold them. I think Miami wants to pass. That plays right into the hands of Micah. You know, are the Miami Dolphins going to commit to 25 carries on the ground today? I don't know if they are.
They better.
That just depends.
Yeah.
They should.
I'm going to go with the Cowboys on this.
See, and my argument for going against Dallas is that when they play against a team with a quarterback they're not quite familiar with, they suffer. They suffered with Dobbs. They suffered with Josh Allen. They're going to suffer with Tua because they're the unfamiliarity they have with that quarterback in their system. You know, look, Dallas isn't like I told Sonny. Dallas doesn't lose 2 games in a row. They ain't done it all year, unlike the Eagles or the Niners or the Lions. But that don't matter. You know, I mean, they're playing in Miami. If they're playing in Dallas, it'll be a different game. They're playing in Miami. They play on grass. They don't do well on grass.
Right.
But it's going to be raining anyway. Same conditions you had in Buffalo, except a little bit, it won't be as cold. But you know, for me, I just think because they've already clinched, they may not feel the need to want to win this game as much as they're going to have the need to win next week's game. But also having said that as well, you know, it depends how long they keep their starters in. You know,
yes.
If Miami's up 17-0 at halftime, pull the starters. Second half, you go to what's his name, Cooper Rush, and whoever the backups for him is out there. Just save your team for next week, because you don't have Tyreek Hill. Sorry, you don't have Tyron Smith. You don't have your secondary is beat up all to hell right now, and you have no inside linebackers right now that can. The missing of the linebacker the Cowboys got. I can't remember. Big white dude that always gets hurt. What's his name? He's on injured reserve now. Anyway, I'm tired. Haven't slept in days. But it's been
I'm not
Christmas,
sure who
man.
you're thinking about. I'm not sure.
He was a first round draft choice a couple years ago, and now I can't think of what his name is. But the linebacker has that big thing on the back of his neck.
Van
Der Esch. Yeah.
Van Der Esch, yeah.
Yeah. He's out. Him being gone has hurt the middle of that defense a lot. And you don't think Tyreek Hill and Jalen Water are gonna sit there and just have fun with that? Oh, please.
I think you're right.
So that's why I've got Miami. But I'm not here to influence your pick, Bryce, because I am in first place. So,
we're never going to live it down.
There's the chair shot right there.
I mean, you do you.
I told you what's coming.
You do you. That's pretty cool.
There's the brass knucks right there. The brass knucks.
I got people. I mean, so I'm just saying, you do you, Sonny. You keep doing you, because I can't wait for the Hulk Hogan Fu Manchu with the black beard.
I've already resorted to the fact that it's happening.
I mean, the bet's already been won. Thank you very much, everybody. I'll be here all week. So
I'll get you your plaque too. I promise.
But anyway, okay. On to Jacksonville and the Bucks. Go ahead, Sonny. Take it away.
Well, no. Jacksonville and the Bucks is one of these games. I'm telling you right now. It's something. Bryce. Yeah. How about them Steelers? Anyway, this is a big game. This is a put up or shut up for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Okay, are you going to be good? Are you going to show? This is the atypical game that when you see an 8-6 Jaguars at the beginning of the season, we were talking about how great they are. This is a game where they have to win the football game. This is a game, it's mediocre. Listen, the Buccaneers are not a good football team compared to the Jaguars, but that doesn't mean anything. Here's one good thing for the Jaguars. Guess what? They're not at home. They play horrible at home. This is a horrible football team at home. But what I worry about is one Baker Mayfield who is playing good football. And listen, I said everybody, they gave up on this guy way too much, way too early. Yes, I am conducting the choir here. But I'm going to tell you, this is going to be the second best game to watch this week because of will Peterson get his team to come and play against a football team who is just one step above mediocre. And if you're a good football team, you beat this team. And will it happen this week? Well, after what happened last week, if they don't go out and win this football team, forget about playoffs. Forget they'd be one and done if they make the playoffs. That is why I'm not going with the players on the football field. I'm going with coaching. And I am going with my guy in Jacksonville. You heard it here first. I am on my Jacksonville Jaguars today. And the reason being is because Peterson is going to walk into that locker room and say, listen, guys, do you know who I won the Super Bowl with? Do you know? Do you remember the quarterback's name? Yeah. Who do we have? Who's a better quarterback, Nick Foles or my guy? And listen, this guy knows how to motivate his team. Now, granted, he hasn't been doing it enough to get him the victories, but today is the come to Jesus for the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm picking the Jaguars to win. I'm picking them to make the playoffs. Here's the thing. They lose this game, they're not going to make the playoffs. That's just the way. And yes, they got 3 more games, but it's the start of the downslope of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and we can stop saying they're a great team. We can say they're a good team. I'm tired of people saying the Jaguars are great. They're not. However, they got one of the best coaches in the league, and he is going to put a boot up their ass in order to get the victory this week, because he will bring out, who did I have? I had Nick Foles, and I won the Super Bowl with a backup quarterback. So this is the week for the Jaguars. I think it's time for him to say, so, well, a lot of people, but
Right?
by the way, no. People in the media are saying they're a great football team, and listen, I've been on this show saying they haven't been. So that is just my answer. I listen to different places. I guess I don't know. Maybe
Yeah,
I don't know.
all Jacksonville radio all the time.
Well, no. Hey, listen. Earlier in this year, everybody was on the bandwagon of Jacksonville. Even Bryce from Brooklyn was all over him, saying, "Yeah, going." I mean, I didn't forget because I was right. But just more than the fact that this week is a make or break. And listen, I'm going to go coaching today, and coaching is all about it, and it's about Doug Peterson finally getting through to his guys. Listen, you can beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Baker Mayfield. You want to know why? Here's the reason why. Scoring offense, every stat, the Jaguars are ahead except one, and that's in the second quarter. The Jaguars pass offense are ahead of the Buccaneers, every single stat. It's there. The run offense, well, no one has a run offense, so who cares? But on the defensive side of the ball, it's all Jaguars. So when I'm looking at the game, I'm looking at the stats, and I'm going to go coaching. I'm going Doug Peterson. So Bryce in Pittsburgh today. You threw me off. Bryce in Brooklyn, Pittsburgh. What's your take up on the Jaguars taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Baker Mayfield, which, by the way, has been playing some great football in reality?
Sonny, you can talk about bandwagon on the Jaguars and hyping them up.
You guys were more of a Jaguar fan than I was, so that's it.
Yeah, let me ask you a question, Sonny. Who's in first place right now in the division?
Okay. All three of them are tied. They're a three-way tie for the AFC division.
Who's in first place?
Well, I guess the Jaguars are. I know,
no guess. They are.
Yeah. Tiebreakers and everything will change after this game.
Everyone who picked the Jaguars to win this division are still right in it. They were not out of bounds to think that. Just because you are pessimistic about your team doesn't mean the rest of us have to sit here and fall for that. All right, so that's number one. For all your ranting and raving, the Jaguars are in first place in the division. So that's number one. Number two, let me tell you something. I've never been a Baker Mayfield fan. He's kind of a bust, overrated. For being the number one pick, he has not played up to what his draft status.
Yes, I agree with that. Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you something. He's got that team at 7-7, leading his division. I'm gonna tell you, this is a big indictment of. This is an indictment of the New Orleans Saints. That you get Derek.
I was going to say all the other teams in the division
too. That
keeping it real.
That for everything with the defense, you guys actually are a game behind the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who have sneakily come up. No one thought the Buccaneers would be contending for this division. Yet here we are. There's a good chance they're going to win this division. So, I give the Buccaneers a lot of credit. I think it's going to be a tight game. I think it's going to be a close game. What do I always say? In these type of situations, I look at the coach. I look at the quarterback. I like Todd Bowles. Think he's a pretty good coach. He's okay. I like Todd Bowles.
What?
Baker Mayfield, is playing good football. But the pedigree, the talent, Peterson and Lawrence, I think the Jaguars get it done. Todd Bowles
is not. I'm just saying it. I don't care. I've watched him in Arizona. I watched him in New York. Now I'm watching him here. Guess what? There's just one.
Squad. Who's
The guy is not a good head coach. He's a great defensive coach if that's all he's doing. But as far as being a good head coach, this guy is not good.
What did you expect? What was your prediction for where the Buccaneers would finish in that division at the beginning of the season? Be honest.
I think I had him last.
Okay.
If I didn't have him last, I had him in third.
Okay.
No, I didn't have him. I had Panthers in the. I had Panthers.
You had him third. Okay. So who is leading? I'll ask you the same question about the NFC South. What team is leading that division right now?
The NFC South. Who's winning? I can look. I got it. NFC. The Buccaneers and the Saints.
The Buccaneers right now are leading that division.
Right now, yes.
So we can't say Todd Bowles is whatever, when we thought his team would be third, but now he's got his team contending for the division. Okay, and not knocking for it.
I don't get. You're right. I don't give that much. I don't give that much to that. You're right. Should I? I don't know. All I know, 7-7 is not a good record. That's all I know.
Right. Whether you like the division or not doesn't matter. Someone has to win the division. You'd be killing this guy if he was in last place in a terrible division.
Oh, I'm killing him now. I don't care. He's in first place.
You got this. He's got his team leading the division when no one was picking them to win that division. You got to give Todd Bowles credit. That team's playing for him.
Well, do you give Todd Bowles credit, or do you give the fact that maybe the team finally has rallied behind someone who can finally do it? Listen, Todd Bowles, okay, is nothing to write home to mama about, and he hasn't done it. And I don't want to give him credit for what he's doing, because if I was going to give him credit, I'll tell you why I would. Is if they were 9-5. They're 7-7. They suck. Let's just be honest about it. They suck. And I know a lot of people don't like, that's just harsh. You should no. The Buccaneers suck. They're 7-7. They're like the Giants winning the damn NFC East when they were doing it years ago with their crappy football team, making it in the playoffs under 500. So guess what? The Giants sucked back then. So did the Buccaneers. They suck. And part of it is because of their coach. Now, that said, they happen to be winning the division. Well, hoop-de-doo. Who gives a shit? They're not going to last very long in the playoffs anyway. So let's just kick them out and they'll be done. But I will tell you this. The fact that Baker Mayfield is making this team look good, not Todd Bowles, should be the indictment on him in reality. So, and I know Todd Bowles is the defensive guy. Don't get me wrong. I know what he is. But he is just not that good, and he sucks. That it's just, and I'm tired of people. I'm afraid. I don't want to say he sucks. Well, I do. I want to say he sucks because he does. So, but that's just me. But against the Jaguars today, hey, the Buccaneers have a chance to win this football game. Okay, and it won't be because of Todd Bowles. It'll be because of Baker Mayfield. But that also being said, I don't know if they're going to end up doing it. Now, one thing that bothers me, the Buccaneers, or that intrigues me about this and the Jags, they're on the road. They play well on the road. They should win this football game in reality because they got better talent in reality. And I think Doug Peterson brings it home. So I'm on the Jags. So who are you going to pick in the game, Bryce?
I already picked the Jags.
What about Trey Mack?
Yeah, I want to hear two things, and I got to get out of here, guys. Podfather, what is your opinion on our Todd Bowles conversation? Who you got in the game? That's my two questions. I'm looking forward to hearing this.
Okay. Well, first of all, I was looking on the pick'em thing to see if I can pick a tie. Apparently, I can't.
You can't pick a tie. No.
I was trying.
We all lose. That's the way.
Look. Not that home field advantage matters between Jacksonville and Tampa Bay because they're both in Florida. But I'm gonna go Bucks.
Okay.
Because here's the thing.
Not a bad pick. Not a bad pick.
Sonny, shut up. Here's the thing. You just sat here earlier. No more than 15 minutes ago. And told us that the coach of the Jaguars is going to go in that locker room, tell everybody who he quarterbacked to a Super Bowl, stick a boot up their ass, and tell them we're going to get going. But when he's at home, he doesn't do that.
No, I'm just saying they play better. It has nothing to do with the coaching. They just play better on the road.
So you mean tell me week 16 is the time he's going to finally show up to the locker room and go, guys, I won a Super Bowl with Nick Foles.
He'll bring the urgency that has not been in that locker room this week. I'm just
week one.
You're making a valid point, but between coaching,
then let me make my point and shut up. So look, I don't think locker room inspiration on week 16 on a 500 team is going to do anybody any good. Okay. The fact is, Jacksonville, they are who they are. They're okay. They're not great. They're barely good, but they're just okay. Tampa Bay are just okay. They're not great. Todd Bowles, yes. Todd Bowles has had his issues in Arizona. He's had his issues in the league elsewhere. Look out that window. Everybody who's coached an NFL team out there has had issues with somewhere, somehow, some way. It doesn't matter, okay?
Yes.
So, it ain't matter about how you – I mean, once again, it's the NFL. You start week one of your career. You go all the way to the end. If you have a flawless career, you're impressive. Good job. Tom Landry went 0-11-1, okay? So, I mean, clearly he had been written out of Dallas back in 1960. Back then, how we had the league we had today.
We have an insane owner that happens, but
well, you didn't know the owner of the Cowboys back then. He was even crazier. So, look, all I'm saying is this. Todd Bowles is playing the cards that are being dealt. He's got a quarterback that is actually feels like he's a part of this team. That's hard to do when you're coming from having Tom Brady be the leader of this team to all of a sudden now the responsibility is on you. And he was a hot dog at OU. He was a hot dog up in Cleveland when they shouldn't have hot dogs. And quite frankly, he's always wanted to be the guy. Now he gets to be the guy, and it's working. So working to perfection? No, it's the NFL. Nobody goes undefeated. Okay? So now even the Patriots. So I think the Bucs are playing better football. I think the Bucs, because they're at home, they'll have a little bit of home field advantage. Not a lot because it's Florida. And I just think that it's going to be a better game for the Bucs than it will be for the Jacksonville Jaguars. And I don't think a pre-meeting before the game telling everybody who you quarterbacked in the Super Bowl back years ago is going to make a hell of a difference to a team that's sitting there going, okay.
Okay. I didn't say I was quiet.
Thank you. I will be here all week.
All right, Bryce. What was the thing before you wanted to talk before we got out of here?
No. That was it. I wanted to.
I thought you might wanted to talk about
who we thought they were.
Because since Cuervo's kind of right here.
The Bears are who we thought they were.
I mean, so
action.
Look, real quick. Last week that was tough for the Bears. I mean, I thought that they had a chance to really pull something off.
I did too,
and get the upset. I was rooting for them. I wanted to see them win that game. That would have really helped the Steelers' cause, but they couldn't get it done. This week. I'm going to pick the Bears. I'm picking Cuervo's Bears.
Wow.
I think they get it done. Look, I'm not like you, Sonny. I think put in the right position, Justin Fields can really succeed, but he hasn't really been put in the best position. I think if that happens, and he is, the Bears can do well. I think they got a quarterback. I think they have enough to beat the Cardinals.
Okay. All right. So Bryce from Brooklyn, I know he's got a role, so I just wanted to, but because I wanted to also play the sound bite, in reality for Cuervo too. But that being said, good to see you, Bryce from Brooklyn. Always love to see that smile. He is the man. And
and then I will see you next week for the New Year's.
By the way, just to let you know, my Christmas gift is having Bryce from Brooklyn on with Cuervo and I, as well as the Podfather. So, yeah, thank you very much for a wonderful season up to this point. And, of course, we got the playoffs coming up here real soon as far as that's concerned. So, always good to see Bryce from Brooklyn, the best smile on the internet as he got. All right. So, that being said, I'm on Jacksonville. I'm going to leave you to the left. I know you kind of like that.
I already said the Bucks, so move on.
Yeah, I know. We're going to thanks. I appreciate that. I know we're going to move on. So, how about Arizona and the Chicago Bears? What's your take up on Arizona? And the just so that you know, I'm on Arizona in this game because after last week, that might have taken the sail out of the team. So that's where I'm at. What's your take up on this week?
I've got, see, you get the camera. Got Arizona right here. Got Chicago right here.
Yeah, I know.
It's looking like the same game, really. I mean, it's just
it's insane, right?
They're kind of the same team. Well, I'll say the Bears are coming up a little bit. The Bears, it's a home field advantage. I can feel it. I can feel it in my bones. It's gonna. Oh shit! Arizona's coming back. They're hulking up. I don't believe it, folks. Can you believe it? It's a battle of greats right here. Not really, but
it's going to be a nose. Who's going to win by the nose?
They're going to go into overtime, and then boom, the Bears win. That's my thought.
Wow. All right. So the Bear. Listen, that's not necessarily a bad pick. They're at home and everything. I
don't make bad picks, sir. When you're in first place, you don't make bad picks.
Okay, then I wasn't making bad picks for the first 15 weeks of this league there. So we can.
I hung in there with you. It's okay.
You did. You didn't have a bad week like I did. I had a 4-game win week. That just kind of killed me. But and I can't. I am.
I said the Bears win, sir.
It's right there. I'm going Arizona. Bears. I'm going to pick the Arizona Cardinals. I don't know. Neither one. Okay. I'm not. I'm so tired of your political correctness, on that last bit that you just did. Oh, they have problems here. They have problems there. It's almost like you're afraid to say they suck. All right, all right. So on that last, Jaguars.
I was painting a picture, sir.
Yeah, painting a picture my ass. I know you too long. You don't paint pictures. But I thought you said what you thought, but you didn't listen to that. But no. I just right now. Listen, that lost last week. I thought. By the way, Cuervo. Hold on. There we go. Cuervo, I had your Bears last week. They lost me that game last week. So yes. So I'm on the Arizona Cardinals. Both. So I'm just going to say it because I don't give a rat's fat ass if political crap. Both these teams suck, including the Bears, including the Arizona Cardinals. Both the quarterbacks suck. Okay, so I just don't know which one sucks the best. So I
maybe Peterson should actually call Nick Foles up.
Yeah, maybe that can help. Up yours. up yours, by the way, just to let you know. So I'm going to go Arizona Cardinals in reality because it's kind of I hate both of these football teams because and here's the thing. I hope the Bears would win this division. In fact, I did. I don't worry about that time. I'll go over. It's my prerogative, my show. But unfortunately,
the Bears are who we thought they were.
So that being said, all right, fine. We will go into rapid fire because we've had a lot of fun today. So, but we got through a lot.
You've had a lot of fun. I've had to deal with you.
Green Bay. All right. So rapid. Green Bay, Carolina. They both suck. Who are you on?
Green Bay.
And I think I am on Green Bay too. Let me look here.
Although Carolina did squeak out that win last week, so good for them.
Yeah. Wow. Amazing for them. Congratulations. So they did good. And hold on. We only got a few games. We got New England and Denver. What's your take on New England and Denver?
Denver will win. Although New England can finish strong, okay, if they really wanted to, but I don't think they're going to do that. I think Denver needs this win because Denver is still trying to figure out: are we good? Are we bad? Are we indifferent? What are we? I mean, we're still the same team that got beat 70-20 earlier this year by Miami. So let's finish strong, get to the playoffs, and try to make waves that way. I think that's where their mindset needs to be.
So that said, Giants and Eagles. Obviously, the most important part of the game, or for the game, is the Eagles to continue to win, especially if Dallas drops the game. No.
It's important that the Eagles lose for the Cowboys in case they lose today. But I do that. The Eagles win. I want the Giants to win, but I think the Eagles do win.
Yeah, I get it. I've wanted the Jaguars to win the games they've lost too, but I get why you want that, obviously, because to keep the Cowboys on top in that division, to bring home that wild card game, to try to get it out. And then the Baltimore Ravens and San Francisco. Both teams 11-3. This is the game of the week, and it's on Christmas. 3 games, by the way, on Christmas. Thank goodness. That being said, what's your take up on the game of the week and possibly a Super Bowl, look?
This is a tough one. This is, out of all the games this week, I have more of a hard time picking this one than I did for my own damn team. Okay.
Okay.
And the only reason I picked the Niners is because they're at home. That's the only reason why. If this is played on a neutral field, I'd have to lean towards the Ravens because I think the Ravens have less flaws than the 49ers.
I don't know I think if there are any flaws, they're so minute it don't matter. It's a coin flip game. Go
flip your damn coin. Go ahead.
Well, I'm going to go for the MVP. I think who's playing better quarterback play right now is where I'm going. Okay. And listen, you can say whatever you want. Purdy's a great quarterback. I just said it. Not good quarterback. He's a great play. And I'm going to tell you the reason why he's great. He plays the game to help them win the game. He doesn't have to be the superstar. And he knows he doesn't have to be the superstar. That's what makes him great. Why? Because he's going to make a boatload of money regardless.
Which in reverse, Lamar Jackson has to be the player on that offense to get that thing going.
He is the MVP. And listen, I saw that guy last week get out of so many plays last week. He's not injured. This guy's 100%. And I think this is the game for the 49ers that they drop in the last 3. They're going to win out after this one. So they're going to win that division. They don't have to get this game either. That's another thing. The Ravens, I think they need it because they want to prove something and they want to get that bye. So I think that's where this kind of runs in there.
But winning in San Francisco is a different beast.
Oh, I get it.
Yeah, I mean, the Eagles struggled up there. The Cowboys struggled up there. And those teams were, I'm not saying they're just as good as Baltimore, different conferences, so you can't, it's hard to pick that. But once again, you have your MVP talk with Dak, you have your MVP talk with Jalen Hurts, you have your MP3, you have your MPV talk. I can't talk, I'm tired. MVP. I'll get it right. I'm tired. I gotta go to work. But the same talk with Lamar Jackson. Guess what the Niners do? They eat up MVPs. Okay? They've done that this year. Now,
maybe not this one.
Maybe not. I mean, maybe Lamar Jackson runs like crazy, runs for 300 yards, and you look at him and you go, well, he's the exception. Although I still hate him. So, I mean,
I do hate him. I don't like him.
that could be you. I'm just saying, I'm going to go with the Niners. Home field advantage means a lot to them. Like it means a lot to the Cowboys as well. I think this game they clinched the NFC completely. Like they get home field and everything else because I think the Cowboys lose. I think the Eagles are going to win, but I think
hoping Philly loses. Yeah,
hope Philly loses. I think Detroit loses. Although then again, I'm picking Detroit to win. So it's kind of,
I was going to say. I thought you picked them.
I mean, look. The Niners clinch if all the other three teams lose. Bottom line,
yes,
that ain't gonna happen. So, but I do think it's there. You go.
There we go.
Because it's important that Cuervo wins his fantasy league.
It is important to him.
I got the last place trophy from last year. I get to keep it this year.
I think the MVP is going to pull this off. It's just because he's been doing it all year. And I said this at the beginning of the season, and so I'm sticking with it. If this guy remains healthy, this is going to be the team to beat in the AFC. And no, it's not Kansas City. Obviously, they're proving it's not them. And so as far as the AFC is concerned, I think right now the Baltimore Ravens are the best team in the AFC, and they've proven it. And also, just they've been kind of downplaying this game about who's the better team, so that's kind of where we're at. You just went dark. I guess it's time for you to go.
Time for me to go.
So you get on out of here. It's good to see you. We'll catch you next week. So he's got to get to work, and we're done. We covered all of them here up on the Couch Potato Sports Show. That's where we're at. I hope everybody has a wonderful Christmas. And we will be back here in 7 days talking about the games that are happening this upcoming next week. We're out of here, everybody. Have a Merry Christmas, Podfather, everybody, all the misfits that make it up on the show. I hope you all have a great Merry Christmas. And that being said, I usually do the promo outro. I'm going to go ahead and do the one up on the side that I made. Merry Christmas, everybody. Thanks for joining us here.